Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning. Got an absolutely amazing broadcast. You know what it is. It is what we call Way Out Wednesday. This is what we call Way Out Wednesday, and this is where you right there you become the boss. All you have to do is give us a call 678-381-1973, 678-381-1973. Give us a call and we'll talk about anything you want to talk about and talk about it in its entirety. And talk about it in its entirety. So make sure you give us a call and whatever's on your heart. Let's talk about it this morning. There's so much going on in and around in and around the world. I need to ask you all a question though. At what how do you feel? I'm not gonna say at what point. How do you feel? How do you feel about hugging? How do you feel? This pandemic been going on all this time, and there's been a lot of things that's been happening in and around our community. And before this pandemic went on, we see each other, we give each other a hug, high five, or some kind of form of some kind of form of affection. We would do that before this pandemic. And now that the pandemic is going on, we don't do those things anymore. I'm gonna tell you something. I was a hugger. Hey man, what's going on? Hey young lady, how you doing? Good to see you. And that's what I would do. I would hug. But now, pandemic, and they say is on the back end of it right now. But at what point? When would you feel comfortable? When will you once again feel comfortable with meeting somebody, greeting someone with a hug? When will you feel comfortable? At what point will you feel comfortable giving somebody a hug? When you meet them and greet them, you see them and everything, and you greet them by giving them a hug, giving them a handshake, shaking somebody's hand. We don't do that anymore. We don't do that anymore. It's an elbow pump or something like that. That's what you give them, an elbow pump. And with that being said, are we ever going to get back to the point where we can actually give each other a hug? Are we gonna get back to that point? Button my top button here. What's going on with me, man? Like I'm in the 70s or something. What's really going on? Button my shirt. Okay, but listen, I want to know from you. Give me a call 678-381-1973, 678-381-1973. Let me know when you personally, because it's a personal thing. It's a personal thing. Some feel more comfortable than others. But my thing to you is, when will you feel comfortable? When will you feel comfortable giving a hug? Let me know. 678 a handshake. Just a handshake, man. Where sometimes you meet somebody, you meet one of your boys or something like that. Man, you give them a dab. Y'all chest bump or something like that, and that's just what it is. That's how it was, but no more. Now, you don't even you see each other, and it's like you give them a nod from across the room. Hey, bro, good to see you, man. Good to see you. And so it's just not the same. It's not the same. Hold on, I'm multitasking here for a second. Y'all bear with me. But yeah, definitely give me a call. Okay, good deal. I'm multitasking, working on a couple of things here. But yeah, give me a call and let me know what y'all think about that. How do y'all feel about that, man? Um, is it something, do the person have to be vaccinated? If they're not vaccinated, do you feel as though you can't give them a hug? You can't interact with them at all in that way? What do you say? What do you say? Y'all give me a call 678-381-1973, 678-381-1973. Give me a call and let me know what y'all think about that, man. It's amazing because we used to do these things. It was something that we would do on a regular. Hold on for a minute. Let me. Okay, got a call. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
I can't hear you too good.
Okay, you can't hear me. Hold on. Let me see something here. Let me
I
turn.
barely hear you. Barely hear you.
How about now?
Okay, I hear you a lot better. This is Rico calling from Anderson, Alabama.
Rico, what's going on, man? How you doing this morning?
Man, out here getting it in, man. The sun catching me, but I gotta fight it.
There you go. There you go. Rico, I got a question. This is Way Out Wins. We're gonna talk about a little bit of everything, or you got a different name for it, but But I'm asking right now, Rico, what is it going to take? And this is a personal thing. It's a personalized thing. Everybody have a different answer. But what do you think? When is it going to take? When we get to the place where we meet each other and greet each other with a hug or handshake or something like that, with this pandemic going on as it is, people don't do that anymore. What do you think it's going to take, Rico, for people to get back to when they see each other, they give each other a hug or a nice firm handshake, look each other in the eye, and brothers they come together, they do the snap and chest pump or something like that. What is it going to take to get back to that point, Rico?
I really don't think it's gonna take anything but just people drifting back into that way of living.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I still saw people doing that. A lot of people still doing it at the beginning of the pandemic and all through it when it was at its worst. When people were still going out and about, I still saw people doing it here and now. It's like maybe they forgot because they wasn't used to it.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't get automatically adjusted to change like that off the top. Especially when you've been shaking hands with people and hugging people for the last 40 or 50 years. Now
Yeah.
all of a
Yeah.
sudden you got to wear masks and gloves. That's
Mm-hmm.
something you're not used to. You're not used to grabbing your mask and gloves when you walk out the house. You just used to grabbing your keys, and now maybe you're used to grabbing your cell phone because we got used to that. So it took people time to adjust to those precautions, and
Mm-hmm.
some people never did adjust because they didn't believe it and it didn't make them comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But me personally, I didn't change too much because even though I did do fist bumps and I do a hug every now and then, for the most part, I always felt uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So before this pandemic even kicked in, you might catch me doing the elbow bash or just fist pump with people because
Mm-hmm.
I'm observant and I see what people do with their hands,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
places they scratch,
Mm-hmm.
places they blow with no tissue,
Yeah. Yeah.
how they wipe their hands on their shirt, how they don't wash their hands before they eat, after they eat,
Mm-hmm.
before they use the restroom, after they use the restroom. I watch that.
Mm-hmm.
And when I see it, it makes my stomach turn.
Mm-hmm.
And for the most part, I think about that. You see people go up in the nose so quick and easy like it ain't nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And if they do it with you sitting right there and then they catch themselves when you ain't around, they going to town.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they
Yeah.
might not wash their hands. I'm thinking about what did you just do before I walked up on you? And I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
tell you something. I sat back and watched people sometimes do some messed up stuff with their hands. They go and walk off to a corner somewhere and go to digging and scratching and come back, don't want nobody to see them,
Mm.
and go right back to doing what they were doing. And
Wow.
I'm like, man, wait, and don't get me wrong, seeing them smell their hands.
Mm-hmm.
So this sucker just went and dug in his crack. I
Mm.
mean, it dug good and then came back and smelled it.
Mm.
And
Good.
I know he smelled something for him, had to reach back there and scratch to do whatever he did,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then watch nobody hand.
Mm.
So even before the pandemic, I knew we were headed in a certain direction because
Mm-hmm.
human beings are not watching their hygiene
Yeah.
like they used to or like we should. A lot of things we know we should be doing. I see grown men get up in the morning, don't brush their teeth or wash their face.
Mm.
Go straight out the door.
Good
Oh, I'm
Lord.
just going to the store, coming right back home. You still supposed to do a certain thing
Exactly.
before you
Exactly.
leave out. When you get up in the morning, there's certain things you're supposed to do right off the top to get your day started
Mm-hmm.
because you don't want to come in anybody else's face like that.
Yeah.
So with people not practicing good hygiene for themselves, I was already sort of cautious
Mm-hmm.
about shaking people's hands,
Yeah.
regardless of what they looked like or what they had on.
Mm-hmm.
I was always cautious because I know human beings have their own fetishes and little sick things that they do behind closed doors that nobody knows about. Every
Mm-hmm.
human being does.
Exactly. Exactly. Let me go to Donna Tucson. Donna Tucson, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, man.
Tucson, we asked you the question, man. Before this pandemic came, people used to greet each other, man, with a hug, a handshake, or high five or something. They used to do all kind of terms of endearment or what if you want to call it that. But after this pandemic, people don't hug each other anymore. So what do you think it's going to take? And it's a personalized answer. Everybody got their own answer. But what do you think it's going to take, Donna, for people to get to the point where they can hug each other again?
I think it's good like it is.
Mm-hmm.
For real.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hug everybody. Like Rico said, some people nasty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some, some people I don't go to their house. Don't ask me to eat nothing. I'm full when I get there.
Mm-hmm. Don't need nothing.
No.
Mm-hmm.
I went to one of the professors. Well, he was the instructor in a seminary,
Mm-hmm.
and we went to his house, and we were sitting at the table, and I actually went to get the food to eat, and when we sit down at the table, when they sit down at the table, he say, "Oh, my dogs eat with at the table with us."
Oh Lord,
Wait
no.
a minute.
Oh no. Oh no.
And he bite a piece and pass it to the dog. Wait a
Mm.
minute now. I'm full.
Yeah.
I ate some on the way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, look, my dad used to say, where the pound came from. You know how you greet somebody with a pound?
Yeah.
He says that where that come from is man hand ain't clean. Man hand ain't clean.
Mm-hmm.
So just give him a pound.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've been doing that. One
Exactly.
other thing I thought about, man, is when you're in a restaurant. You know what I despise, and it just upsets me. I move my plate, I move my cup when the waitress or the waiter passes over you, crosses
Uh-huh.
over you to pass somebody else at the table their food.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Oh, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't know what's on their sleeve. They passing the food or they passing the food to somebody else and they rub their sleeve or their
Mm.
clothes on your food.
Mm. Mm.
And you just eating it up.
And you
Ooh, that was so good.
no. Mm. Wow.
And I'm sorry, Raheem, I'm gonna say it so just as nasty as it is. And you don't know you. Oh Lord,
Come on.
no, you don't. You're not ready for this. You eating booty crumbs.
Mm.
Sorry.
Mm. Wow.
I mean, people, they scratch their tail.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they scratch their private parts, and then they come serving your food. They
Mm.
don't even know it. Even this, man. You ever notice people be serving you food and they pick up and put down their mask to kind of wipe their nose because it irritates the
Mm-hmm.
nostrils,
Yeah.
the fibers from the mask. So
Mm-hmm.
they pull the mask down, rub their nose to get the fibers out, and put their mask back up, and then serve you your food.
Mm. No, they don't.
Pay attention.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just pay attention
That's
to
one.
these boys and girls that's serving you food in the drive-through. Now you don't know what they're doing because you're going through a drive-through.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't, man. Look, you better start cooking.
That's a lot of trust, ain't it? That's a lot of trust right there, man. That's a lot of trust when you're
I'm just saying.
going through a drive through, not knowing what they're
And for me,
doing. Go ahead.
that I be told, don't say nothing when you get bad service.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be told, don't say nothing until you get your food.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because if they get an attitude and you say, I need another, you need to fix me another sandwich. I don't like it like this. So to get back, do your sandwich something, then serve it to you.
Mm.
But
Mm.
you don't know it.
It got a little extra ingredients in it.
Oh yeah, preservatives and additives.
And
That
additive.
has a whole that has a whole other meaning these days
Mm-hmm.
because people are mean and angry. Be, um, Not only because they have to work, they have to do their job and somebody else's job that's not showing up for work or
Mm-hmm.
that don't want to work. So they're frustrated, and you mad at the little cashier that's doing the best that she can, but you don't know that she's missing five coworkers that's getting stimulus money,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and you get an attitude with her, and she get upset with you because you upset with her because you don't know what's going on in her life or his life. So they take your food to the bathroom and then send it to you.
Mm.
How you like that? Didn't that taste good?
This don't smell like it smelled the last time. It smell a little different.
Happy eating.
This don't this look this don't smell the same. So Daria, good morning. How you doing this morning?
How you doing? Good morning,
Good.
everybody.
Good morning to you, sis. Good to have you. Excellent question. Are we ever going to get back to the place where we used to hug and give each other a handshake when we meet and greet them at at any place at work or socially or whatever? Are we ever going to get back to those days where just meet somebody and you hey, how you doing? You ready to give them a hug and everything, and you continue with your encounter. What is it going to take for us to get back to that place, Daria?
I don't know that we will. I know for me personally, even before the pandemic, like everyone else said, I'm not a hugger and I'm
Mm-hmm.
not keen on people being in my personal space unless I choose that option, meaning with, someone that I'm very uh personal with, like my children or my mate or something like that. But the only other place that I've, been a little less cautious is in ministry. And usually with the people that I know, well, for me, it was the people that I knew as leadership because I had been to their homes. I knew, and many of them had lived in my home.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of knew them very personally. But just for me, on a personal level, um, I've never was huggy or kissy, and I don't think with the pandemic uh, that people are always going to have an element of fear. I agree with Donald. Like even in restaurants, especially fast food. My daughter used to work at Burger King, and then I was one of those people. If I, go through fast food, give you my order, and if you turn around and ask me to repeat it or ask me what I wanted, it would frustrate me because I figure you in a drive-through, so your job is to be have good listening skills. But
Mm-hmm.
my daughter used to tell me, Mom, you don't want to make them mad. She said, because I used to work at Burger King and I've seen them do some real nasty stuff to people's food when the people get angry with them or short. So I knew from experience from my daughter of the
Mm-hmm.
types of things that they could do to your food in a drive-through, and you never know it. And you
Mm-hmm.
get your food, and as Donald said, you go on and you eat it, and then you get some form of stomach problem or problems in your other end, and you trying to figure out, well, I ate this before and it never made this happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the pound, or now they're doing the elbow. I think those are sufficient. I mean, it's a way of letting someone know that you acknowledge them, and you don't have to be all in their space or all in their face. Like Rico said, I'm real big on, especially I'm a teeth breath person.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't take care of your teeth, I am automatically turned off from anything where you're concerned, because it's like you're not going to be in my face with bad breath. And
Mm-hmm.
since I no longer drink alcohol or smoke cigarettes, which I did, not trying to condemn someone, I can't even stomach the smell of alcohol on someone's breath,
Mm-hmm.
or cigarettes on someone's hands. Like Donald was talking about, many of the waiters and waitresses, they'll go outside and smoke. They don't come back in and wash their hands. They come back in, do it, do their serving, and now they're serving you food with smoke and a cigarette that they may have been sharing with somebody else. I've seen them, have a cigarette they had in the morning or earlier, butt it, and then sit it in the ashtray, and then go back and get it the next time they smoke. So
Mm-hmm.
then now that cigarette's been sitting out there, don't know if you got an ant crawling, but it just, people don't even think about that. I've seen people digging their nose, not consciously because it's just a habit. They just dig in their nose, so you see all kind of stuff. And these are the people not just at restaurants serving you. When you go to the grocery store, when
Yeah.
you go and the cashier is ringing up your food, I even feel some kind of way about putting my code in the ATM card when 6,000 people have used that same ATM machine. Or
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying ATM, but also the cashier when you go there and you pay for your food when you're coming out of the grocery store. And that pin pad, that's what I'm trying to say. I
Mm-hmm.
even feel some type of way about that at the store and at the gas station. Like,
Mm-hmm.
my mind says how many people came here before I did and what
Exactly.
was on their hands when they
Mm-hmm.
put their pin number done in there. And what if they
Exactly.
had the same numbers as me? So I don't think, and the pandemic just exacerbates that. So I don't think it's gonna ever get to that level in the same way. People
Okay.
will figure out a way to greet each other without being in each other's personal space. And like I said, they got the elbow or the shoulder thing right now. And that might remain to be for a while. It might
Exactly.
remain in effect.
Okay. Hold on for a second. Let me go to Rico. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
Yeah, man, she was right about that keypad thing. In 2008, that was a MRSA outbreak in Florida.
Mm.
A MRSA is like a offshoot of the staph. Well, I'm an evolution. It was actually worse than the staph infection because no antibiotics treated.
Mm-hmm.
And I messed around and got it. Now, most times you would think you would have to ingest something, or maybe an open wound would have to get infected for you to get staph infection.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, I consider it a nasty man's disease,
Mm-hmm.
or a nasty man's virus, because what it was a bacteria that you can pick up from surface objects.
Mm.
And maybe you would breathe it in, or maybe you would put your hand in your mouth after that. But once you got it, you was in trouble. Man, that stuff like to kill me.
Mm.
I went to the hospital so many times, they thought they had it, and it would come back. I mean, man, I was almost paralyzed, man. My toes hurt. Everything hurt. It was terrible. So little by little, I found out how it came about. I was working with people that were nasty. So they'll
Mm-hmm.
sweat, just they'll sweat. And the dirt from their hands being on whatever I touched after they touched it was causing me to pick up these infections.
Good Lord.
So whenever I got into the work truck or the forklift or whatever I was getting on at work, I started getting these smells, these scents. I'm like, wait a minute, man, this stuff smells like metal. It's a stinking metal smell. Then after a while, I started smelling it on doorknobs.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go into the store and smell it on the door handle. If I open up a door and I grab that handle, I smell that metal, dirty metal smell
Mm.
on my hands. And I started figuring and realizing what bacteria smell like. But it was so easy to get it just from someone else's sweat
Good
and
Lord.
dirt and skin
Mm-hmm.
being on the seat that you sat in. Now
Mm-hmm.
here it is, you working and you sweating. Now you sit on the seat that has dried, but it still got MRSA on it from them. Now your skin or your sweat and your body fluid contaminated with theirs, and you got it. That's how easy it was. So from that point forward, I started realizing these smells. I'm glad I did because that's what made me quit smoking cigarettes. The scent
Mm-hmm.
on my hand. Even after I washed my hands, I couldn't get rid of that smell. But from that point forward, I could get that scent, and I don't even really have to put my hands up to my face. But I could smell it so strong when you touch door handles. That's why
Mm.
you see people wiping stuff down so
Yeah.
much now. So when they were doing that COVID stuff in Korea, when they had everybody wiping down everything, they were being so meticulous. I can understand why, because we have become so comfortable
Mm-hmm.
with the norm that we were in that we got to adjust to a new norm. Our comfort zone made us lazy and made us nasty and filthy. We
Mm-hmm.
didn't, people don't like to bathe every day. They don't like to wash their hands every time like they're supposed to. There's just so many things that we know we're supposed to do that we got out of the normal practice of doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's consequences behind it. These are some of the consequences. The COVID, all of this stuff, well, I ain't going to say COVID started from bad hygiene, but we had to practice good hygiene to keep from getting it.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Tucson, excuse me, Tucson, what's on your heart, brother? Will we ever get back? We got quite a few people that's tuning in right now. Give us a call 678-381-1973. 678-381-1973. Will we ever get back to the hugging stage, Tucson?
I don't think so, man. I don't think so. I know I won't.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm. Nope. No, no, no. I found out that you know that two things. Shingles, shingles.
Mm-hmm.
People, it come from. I think it come from chicken pox or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And some people suffer. Some suffer from shingles. Of a kind of older term because their skin it it just gets some kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
But they work with you, and I just watch myself all the time. I don't, I don't just go to any bathroom. I just don't go to just handling things because people, this is contagious. Not only that, I must say this, and I'm careful about saying this, and you're gonna get it when I say it. Some people, when it rains or they get wet, they smell like puppy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. we're gonna leave that right there. We're gonna leave that right there.
Right there.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I know exactly what you. I know
Yeah.
exactly what you mean, brother. I know exactly what you mean. And what is on your heart?
And I don't know if they know it, but that I don't know. But I don't know where that come from.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But they smell like puppy.
Mm.
Uh, so I don't know if we're gonna ever get back to it, but I know I won't because it never was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hug everybody, I don't shake everybody's hand because people, you know, they're not, their hygiene is pretty good bad.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How do
You
you?
know.
How do you, Sidaria? Let me ask you this question: when you go to a restaurant and they give you their silverware and stuff like that, somebody else done had a silverware in their mouth probably 1,000 times. How how do you deal with that? Because I don't think people even pay attention to that. Because when you go to a restaurant, they give you silverware, but some man that done been about 100 miles that week before it get to you.
Hmm. Well, that's a great question because we as a family have a habit of getting our silverware in boiling hot water. You just
Mm-hmm.
ask your waitress to give you a glass of boiling hot water. And before we eat, we all put our silverware in that water.
Mm-hmm.
And a person that told me that was a young man who worked in, a pretty upscale restaurant. And he shared with us, that they use the dishwasher and different things to clean the silverware. So you would think the steam cleans it well. But he said the problem is they never clean the dishwasher.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just consistently just putting the silverware in the dishwasher that is never cleaned out because they assume because of the soaping and the water that cleans the dishwasher, which it does not. They have specific dishwasher cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
So the particles and old food and germs, get stuck down in the crevices of the dishwasher. So he said that and he worked there, he would always get boiling hot water, like from where they get the coffee or the tea, and
Mm-hmm.
he would put his silverware in there at least 2 to 3 minutes before he would eat.
Mm-hmm.
And so then that's what we started doing. Because when someone in a restaurant advises you of something, then chances are it's something you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the way I resolve utilizing silverware that has been utilized over and over by different people. Is
Mm-hmm.
I automatically, as soon as we sit down and they come and ask you for your drinks, we automatically ask for a cup of boiling hot water. And they
Mm-hmm.
bring it, they don't feel any type of way about it.
Yeah.
They'll just bring it to your table. and they don't feel any kind of way of come back and seeing all your silverware sitting in it. And
Mm-hmm.
so I advise other people to do that when they go out to restaurants, because you really have no other way of sanitizing that silverware. And now you can ask for plasticware, period.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't even have to get silverware.
Mm-hmm.
And because of COVID, a lot of the restaurants and everything have plasticware. So you
Mm-hmm.
can just ask, well, can I eat? Do you have plasticware? And can I eat with plasticware? So those are ways to protect yourself from those kind of things. Because I mean, everybody knows my story about COVID. Ever since I had COVID, I'm very, very cautious about even people handing me stuff, even
Mm-hmm.
using my card. You have to hand people your ATM cards, and they handle it with their hands. If they don't have gloves on, I'm very leery about that. Them handing me my card and they don't have gloves on.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
So, the pandemic really, as Rico said, has brought us to a higher awareness where we have become comfortable and assume that everybody's taking the measures they need to take to be
Mm-hmm.
sanitary and clean.
Absolutely, absolutely. Rico, what do you say about that, man? We talking about, and this is something a lot of people don't think about, man. When you go to the restaurants, you sit down and eat, they're gonna bring you silverware. Now that silverware I've been in, man, that day, that silverware probably done been in about 3 or 4 people mouths already before it gets to you. That day. We're not talking.
Man,
Go ahead.
I'm I'm gonna tell you, man. I'm glad you brought that up because I used to think I was sort of weird, and then I conformed. I lowered my standards.
Mm-hmm.
I used to take plasticware to restaurants with me because I thought about that same thing. I thought about who was washing them dishes and what kind of effort they would put into it. Yet I done had arguments with people about using hot water to wash dishes. I had somebody tell me you didn't have to have hot water to clean dishes.
What?
So I'm like, wait a minute, man. You said the same thing I said. I said, what?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to have hot water. So that let me know, number one, either you're lazy or you didn't pay attention to the fact that hot water is meant to sterilize.
Yes. Yes.
Hot water is meant to kill bacteria.
Mm-hmm.
Bacteria steal stuff from anything, old and food, dirt. That's what bacteria come from. So you got to use hot water. So now you think about it. This person worked in restaurants before. Uh-oh. So if they feel that way
Mm-hmm.
in their home
Mm-hmm.
about not using hot water to clean dishes, what you think they're doing at the job? Even when they're being told to use hot water, they're gonna take shortcuts. That
Exactly.
those dishes will be all right.
Mm-hmm.
So now here it is, you sharing utensils. They're not hundreds, thousands of people
Yes.
have eaten off of. Some of them with all kind of mouth diseases. Ain't no telling
Mm-hmm.
what they've been eating before they got there.
Mm-hmm.
What they've been smoking, ice, you name it.
Kissing the
So
dog,
it's a
kissing the
matter of
dogs in the mouth, kissing the
I
dogs in
think
the mouth. Yeah.
I think on the bigger end of this, when we start talking about how the households started getting a little, I don't want to say divided, but parents weren't able to start spending as much quality time with their children, raising them up properly.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to take the cliff notes and raising children. All these latchkey kids,
Mm-hmm.
that term people don't use anymore. Some of these latchkey kids were left to determine whether or not their values were sufficient.
Mm-hmm.
Like as adults, you have a certain requirement, a certain standard. Now here it is, these latchkey children have to understand that same standard that you have to have hot water to wash dishes because they
Mm-hmm.
need sterilizing. But see, if they're 11 years old, they think, well, ain't nobody gonna know. They
Yep.
look clean.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna wash them. I wash them. They ain't gonna know you go back and check and see grease all in it still from cold water.
Exactly.
You know. So the thing is, they raise themselves and then they don't know any better. And at the same time, if they do know any better, when they see the grease on the dishes later on, when they go use them, they don't even realize that it was still the fact that you didn't use hot water.
Mm-hmm.
When you see all this nasty stuff on it, so it's like um, society's standards. We have to accept it. They have been lowered. And they've been lowered to a point where we are actually causing ourselves a lot of harm. A lot of the
Mm-hmm.
stuff we're going through, diseases and viruses, we're causing them.
Yep.
because we have put our standards have went down, have
Mm-hmm.
gone down considerably. So
Mm-hmm.
now, like I said, you just sit back and observe people. I mean, a lot of people say you need to mind your business. Man, look, if you're doing something that may be able to affect me, I'm gonna be that defensive driver.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be a defensive driver when you prepare my food. I'm
Yep.
gonna be a defensive driver when you cutting my hair. I'm gonna be
Mm-hmm.
a defensive driver when you're doing anything pertaining to me because your standards might not be right.
Mm-hmm.
You
Hey.
might have low standards. So I mean, especially if you handling my food,
Mm-hmm.
because I know, like I said, I'm meeting people personally that you have to argue with about hot water, clean. Man, come on, we 48, 49 years old, and you mean to tell me you're gonna let something like that come out your mouth?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You don't need hot water to wash dishes? What?
Mm.
So hey, just think about what is his children thinking when it's time for them to
Exactly.
wash dishes.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's the thing right there, Tucson. Talk to me, brother. We go to the restaurants. We go to the restaurants, man, and silverware that we use in the restaurants has been in so many mouths before it get to us. Talk to me.
Man,
Didn't think about that, did you?
yeah, and I'm just like I think my sister, give me some hot water.
Mm-hmm.
Give me some hot water. And I'm even more careful now from this point on. I might bring my own utensils.
Yes, sir.
Put them in my put them in. Man, I ain't gonna have no man purse or nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
ain't gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
ain't gonna go that far. But I might put them in my pocket or something.
Yep.
Have them in my hand. Keep them in my car. So I'll be
Mm-hmm.
ready. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have to do better than what we're doing because we're learning something today because I never thought about it. They may be washing the dishes, but the dishwasher ain't clean.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Exactly. You can't get anything clean out of a dirty method. You can't get it. It don't work that way. But yeah, and this is something. This is good, man, because I think it's really educating a lot of people on a lot of different things, man. Because people don't think about that when they think about that silverware. They go in there, they sit down, they eat, man. They bring the little silverware wrapped into in the little fancy little handkerchief, napkin, whatever you want to call it, and they open it up. The food come, to open it up, and they take that silverware, they stick it in their mouth, and they eat. And that's what they do, Sidaria. That's exactly what they do.
What they do. And
But
you
you
know
know
what?
what?
Another
You know
thing.
what
I'm
though?
sorry. Go ahead.
We're so used to convenience. Even if we did feel apprehensive about that, like I did, I let peer pressure and with other people say, "Man, you know what? You thinking too hard, man. Them people wash them dishes. Quit
Mm-hmm.
being like that, man. If everybody gonna get sick. People have been getting sick a long time ago." So apprehensively, I broke down and I started doing it, even
Mm-hmm.
though I still had the plastic spoon and fork in my glove compartment with
Mm-hmm.
napkins.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
always had those pencils in my glove compartment. But
Mm-hmm.
this time, not to feel like I'm being approved, feel like I'm out of place or I'm just doing too much, I went ahead and uncomfortably put that fork in my mouth and that
Mm.
spoon. And I still looked at it. I want to see water spots and everything on it. I
Yeah.
want to look and see if this thing been washed. I don't like dishwashing no way.
Mm-hmm.
Because you said, it get food capped down off of that. If you ain't cleaning them, then you washing them with food water,
Yep.
old food water, mold or
Exactly.
whatever. So
Mm-hmm.
I think we get to a point where we start being we accept the convenience.
Mm-hmm.
Man, they do all of this thing. Look, you can go to these fast food restaurants and eat what you want, and they cook it for you, so you don't have to cook.
Mm-hmm.
You got to appreciate that convenience. Screw the quality and appreciate the convenience.
Mm.
Take that risk on convenience. But you can also take a little time, make an effort to make your own meal, and know that your stuff clean.
Exactly. Exactly.
But for you want that convenient food, then you're gonna get that convenient quality in utensils.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. So, though you was about to say something. I got another question I'm gonna throw out there. What was on your heart, sis?
No, I was just gonna say another thing that I don't think that people think about is when other people come in, like you said, a lot of people are eating those off those forks. But and this is, a little deep, but I'm still a Christian. But some people have strange sexual habits as
Mm.
well
Yeah.
that involve their oratorial
Mm,
skills.
mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
they they're eating off of those forks and knives as well, and if they have canker sores on their mouth, you know
Mm,
canker sores is seriously another form of herpes, and it's
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
sign of herpes.
Mm-hmm.
So if a person doesn't know that, they just thinking it's a canker sore, but usually canker sores are a sign of herpes. Now, a
Mm-hmm.
person may not have genital herpes. They can have herpes in their mouth. They can have herpes in a lot of places. So people don't think about any of these things. You're dealing with people that have STDs. You're dealing with people that may have be HIV positive. Yeah, just all kind of things. See, I think about that when I decide to go into a restaurant, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't care about people telling me I'm OCD. I will clean the table off. I
Yeah.
carry baby wipes in a Ziploc bag in my purse for that reason.
Yeah.
Somebody was talking about the bathroom. When I go in the bathroom, even if I use the toilet seat cover, I wipe the toilet first with my baby wipes.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I cringe because I don't want my hands to touch what's already there.
Yeah.
But I use my baby wipes, and then I use the toilet seat cover. People just go in there and sit down, and I'm gonna say this quickly. I had community service once, and I had to clean park bathrooms.
Mm.
And from that point, you could go in those bathrooms. Some people will have defecated on the floor. The
Mm.
toilets, they will have defecated on the toilet seat, and urine. People out there in the park, little kids trying to go to the bathroom by themselves. Those were the worst bathrooms I had ever seen in my
Mm.
life. But
Yeah.
what it taught me was, and then with the women, man, women are nasty with
Mm-hmm.
their monthly stuff.
Yeah.
So what it taught me was not to ever go in a bathroom without having a baby wipe, to touch the doorknob, to open that door, to wipe off that seat. If you have to put your hand on the handicap railing, you better wipe it off,
Mm-hmm.
and wash even if you wash your hands, use the paper towel that you dry it with to open the door to
Open.
go out
Yep.
the bathroom.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
So I do all of those things.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. Tucson, talk to me, brother.
You ain't ready. You ain't ready. You ain't ready. You ain't ready. After my sister just said that, I call them secondhand suckers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Woo, man. You didn't even catch that, did
Secondhand suckers. I'm with you.
you?
Secondhand suckers. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm with you.
Woo,
Mm-hmm.
the kid is not my son.
Mm-hmm.
Man, if we're
Donnie, you
not
something else.
careful,
Donnie, you something else,
more
bro.
careful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, man. I mean, we're not careful. There's more than two in the bedroom.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because these things that are being said now is enlightening because um, you never think when you're at your favorite restaurant, that food is so good, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, boy,
Mm-hmm.
I just love it, you know, and we break them crab legs and all that kind of stuff and all that. Boy, but somebody else used it and you don't know what they have.
Mm-hmm.
You just tearing it up.
Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly.
they just had a encounter with their mate,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't know what because people these days, oh man, that's that.
Look at him. Ain't no one knows.
Ah,
No one
I
knows where the
can't
nose.
say.
No one knows where the
No
nose goes when the doors close,
one
brother.
knows what goes on behind closed doors.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like I said.
And then we have people that are intimate with the
Mm-hmm.
same sex. in some kind of a way.
Mm-hmm.
And they got people that use toys and don't clean them.
Mm. I think we lost Daria. Hopefully, we'll get her back in as well. Let me mute. Okay, good deal. Now, where were we, gentlemen? You had a little technical difficulty there. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, good deal. Yeah. Well, where were we, man? Because we putting a lot of information out there, man. A lot of things that's going on right now, especially there's Daria. We had lost her for a second. So Daria, you had some technical difficulty there. So
Yes.
yeah, it shut me down. So I had and if I'm gonna leave you on the screen. So if it happen again, if you see me go away, just continue the conversation. I'll be right back in. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Let, let me throw this back out here, Raheem,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know if I don't want to be bogus on about it, but I think I was saying that when I go to my favorite restaurant and when they ask me for something, I might stop going to my favorite restaurant. Is no thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You know how you go to the grocery store and they say you want to test this sausage or you want to taste this, sample this stuff, and people, based on what I'm hearing this morning, I don't want nothing no more.
No. No.
Matter of fact, I might stay home more.
Mm-hmm.
Not to be fearful, because we've been doing this for years.
Mm-hmm.
But Johnny and Jim been hanging out together secretly,
Mm-hmm.
and Jim been married.
Mm.
So there's several people in our bedrooms, and we don't even know it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because we chewing the food from the same forks and
Mm-hmm.
without sanitizing our utensils.
Mm-hmm.
That's not good,
No, not at all. And that's one of the things that
and that's don't happen.
and to
No,
some,
I'm sorry.
no, I was gonna say to some that, and that's one of the things that we're talking about this morning. I guarantee you, 80% or 85% of the people that's listening to us right now have never even thought about that. They've never thought about that. They,
No,
they go into their restaurant.
no.
Yeah, they go into their restaurant and sit down and eat the food and go home. They think that's just what it is. But who had that spoon and that fork in their mouth before you, Rico? Who ate off that spoon and that fork?
Like I said, I always thought about that,
Mm-hmm.
and see that's what comes with convenience. Sometimes you get lazy, you could get content and get comfortable, and you just want to get what your heart desires, and you don't think about all the other important things that could be going on. Like what did that person have in their mouth before they put their mouth on that same fork that you have your mouth
Mm-hmm.
on now,
Mm-hmm.
or the spoon?
Exactly.
So I think about that. Like I said, I look at people, I observe people, and I observe people when they don't realize people are watching them. I see the things that they do, and I'm like, man,
Mm-hmm.
there's some filthy people out here. And so it really is a indication of how we could go through some very, very harmful issues. We could have some things happen to us real bad just by overlooking some of the most easy things, the most simple things that we've taken for granted. We look at not washing our hands after every time we use the restroom, or not brushing our teeth after every meal is something that, oh, that can wait, that can wait. Not washing your hands all the time. I mean, we look at that and we take it for granted and think it's not a big deal. But then all of a sudden, when you see COVID or MRSA come around and they're telling you, okay, these are the precautions that you need to take to save your life. These
Mm-hmm.
little small things that you didn't think was important, all the things that's gonna save you.
Mm-hmm.
Wash your hands,
Yeah.
sanitize your hands, put gloves on, don't touch door handles.
Mm-hmm.
And some, I mean, like I said, ignoring those things over time
Mm-hmm.
has put us in a situation where we're going through different illnesses now that are very dangerous.
Yep.
So now you look at something small like, oh, I don't have to wash my hands every time. I don't have to do this and do that. I don't have to wash dishes with hot water. You don't think that's really a health issue. Really and truly, it can mount up over time, and you have a deadly health issue going around all
Mm-hmm.
because of the buildup
Yep.
from people practicing bad hygiene, bad
Mm-hmm.
habits.
And you be deathly sick and don't even know why. Don't even know what. Don't even have any idea what happened. How did I get here? I mean, I've been living right. I've been doing the things I'm supposed to do. But Donna, is because of the fact that you ingested something in that restaurant from that spoon and that fork because they didn't clean it right.
Mm, 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 mm. Lord, I miss. And then the bad thing about it is we so terrified of COVID, and this don't have nothing to do with just COVID.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised at how many other diseases that's out there
Mm-hmm.
that we sharing. You might not have all of it, but you got some traits of it because
Mm-hmm.
you didn't shared your fork, spoon, or something.
Mm-hmm.
Even the napkin holders.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
How many people touch that thing? We just walk in places.
Mm-hmm.
And I think somebody said it before. Some people are real bad about it. A guy was telling me, he said he was pumping gas, and the guy on the other gas side of the gas pump, he just blew his nose. You know how they do that? That's
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
disgusting.
Yeah.
Right down with no handkerchief, no nothing and nothing. Even if he had a handkerchief, the handkerchief is not clean now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It sure ain't. And then I learned something to something else. They say that choir stands. That's why they limiting choir stands, because most of things, how people project in the choir, they're singing out,
Mm-hmm.
and especially with COVID, those people that are in the choir stand projecting their voices is just as equivalent to a sneeze or a cough, because they're singing out loud and they're
Mm-hmm.
right by next to each other, and it's just spread it right there in the choir stand.
Yep. 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 Just spitting all over the place. Just spitting. Stuff.
Hallelujah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Glory.
And sucker and succotash. Sucker and
All the way
succotash.
to the hospital.
Exactly. Exactly. So now what's on your heart?
When he said choir stands, I'm a singer. And one of the things that we used to joke about in church, and it was a joke, running joke, is the microphones.
Mm-hmm.
Because, they share microphones. And you got the preacher preaching in the microphone, and he has all this energy coming out of his mouth. And you got the singer singing in the microphone, and people, again, hygiene is so different across the board. And
Mm-hmm.
as Rico says, some people aren't even taught appropriate hygiene
Yeah.
because their parents don't have appropriate hygiene. And I'm going to share a little story with as less detail as possible. My children, and this works two ways. My children, I used to wonder why they never would drink behind me. They
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't drink behind me. Like if they said, "Mom, I'm thirsty," and we're in the car, and maybe I had something to drink and I was going to share it with them, they wouldn't drink it. And
Mm-hmm.
so as they got adults, I asked them, "What was it that you saw me do that made you not want to drink after me, the person that gave you birth? You already got
Mm-hmm.
all my germs." Mothers think that.
Yeah.
And they told me, one, because at that point when they were little, I smoked and I drank.
Mm-hmm.
So because I smoked cigarettes and some other things,
Mm-hmm.
and I drank, alcoholic beverages, and children do, they burst in my room during a personal time once before.
Mm-hmm.
From seeing those things, they decided they didn't want to drink after me.
Yeah.
Now, it developed a good habit because then they stopped drinking after anybody. So it
Mm-hmm.
developed a good habit. But in the same token, I have people that are very close to me, and as we were talking about, that share their intimacy with same sex. And every time they want to kiss me on the cheek or hug me, that my inside cringes
Mm-hmm.
because it's like, I know what you do. So do I really want you to kiss me? And it ain't because I
Wow.
don't love you.
Mm-hmm.
It's because I consciously am aware of your lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't, and I got sons. So I've seen some things they do with their special areas
Mm-hmm.
that, make me cringe with men. I've
Mm-hmm.
seen men do some nasty things, just as Donald was saying, just snorting mucus out of their nose like an animal,
Mm-hmm.
and then they take the back of their hand and wipe the rest off, and then
Mm.
wipe it on their pants. So
Mm.
like, but then now you gonna come and
That's a
say,
joke.
"Hey, baby," to me? No, I ain't your baby because I already know you nasty.
Mm-hmm.
and
That's a nasty joker there.
and I can't, but I see it a lot. I see,
Mm-hmm.
especially guys that are outside workers. You see a lot of things with them. And I understand they're not consciously thinking about, oh, I need to keep tissue in my pocket or stuff like that. But I
Mm-hmm.
stayed on my son so much about digging in their nose and wiping it on their sleeve. And
Mm.
because I'm so OCD, I would tell them get some tissue in a minute as soon as I see them try to go there. But then that developed a habit with them when they
Mm-hmm.
get ready to when they think about messing with the nose or the private parts, they think about mama saying, get some tissue. Boy, if you're not clean, go in there and wash yourself. You ain't got to be digging like that. I would say stuff like that
Mm-hmm.
because
Exactly.
of my OCD. So it's just hygiene and understanding that even if you're clean
or as clean as you can be, other people are not. And I have one last thing, maybe somebody didn't share it, not and people didn't think about it. Sometimes when you go in the public bathrooms, for me, because I'm OCD, the sink area be so nasty that I
Mm-hmm.
don't even want to wash my hands in it.
Mm-hmm.
So in places like that, that's why I keep the little bottles of hand sanitizer in my pocket, in
Yeah.
my purse, so that when I go to a place like that and I see that, because you see women's hair in the sink from them
Mm-hmm.
primping and trying to be cute because they're going back out. They fix their lipstick, they wash their hands, and then they shake the water off on the sink, and then you got it all over the mirror. So if there's not paper towels available, because usually I'm going to wipe off the sink area anyway before I do anything, because I
Mm-hmm.
don't want all that water and stuff on my purse when I sit my
Mm-hmm.
purse down. And so
Absolutely.
just even stuff like that, people don't even think about it. I see women, they just go and just wash their hands behind the next woman. Ain't no paper towel in there. They shake off their hands and wipe it on their clothes and going out. Women do stuff like that too.
Exactly.
So just
Hold
be
on for a second.
aware.
Mm-hmm. Let me go to Tucson. Tucson, what's on your heart? Rico, coming to you next, brother.
I got upset with somebody because of what they said to somebody else at work.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "Hey man," he says, "did you kiss your wife before you left home this morning?" He said, "Yeah, I always kiss my wife before I leave home." He said, "How do I taste?" I'm sorry.
Oh.
I want to bust him in the mouth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You understand? And it wasn't even me he was talking to.
Yeah.
Couldn't
Yeah.
couldn't have said that to me. It
No.
wouldn't have worked
No.
out good for him at all.
It'd have been a
Win lose
misunderstanding.
or
It would have been a serious
win
misunderstanding.
lose or draw type of situation.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
people, you know, are not. How can I say this? Everybody's not faithful.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And um, some people don't know what their significant other is doing,
Mm-hmm.
or we live in a society that, how do they call it when the mate don't open relationship?
Mm-hmm.
They have open relationships or multi partners, and when you are sharing space with somebody,
Mm-hmm.
you don't know if they are one of the people that have open relationships, because people been on the down low. You got some people still on the down low.
Mm-hmm.
I met a guy. I thought that I was trying to get some counseling as a young minister, because I don't worry about what key I'm in and all that kind of stuff, and whether the music is right.
Mm-hmm.
What I need some music for? Jesus ain't never had no music.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't say I put me in the key
Yeah.
of C
Yeah.
sharp. I I never saw Christ do that, so that don't bother me. But when I was young, because I didn't go there or try to worry about going there, I was concerned.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to this local pastor, and I started talking to him about my concerns, and then I had other issues.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what this guy said. He said, "I understand," and he kind of put his hand on my shoulder,
Mm-hmm.
and he said, "I got a wife and uh um and kids."
Mm-hmm.
But he says, as he rubs me on my shoulder, he says, "But there's something about a man." I said, "Hold up, buddy."
Hold on, partner.
I said, "Man, look, I don't, you know what I mean? What I'm
Mm.
saying is, you think
And this a pastor?
because
This a pastor, brother?
I'm just trying to tell you, I'm just trying to tell you that people are on the down low,
Mm-hmm.
and you never know who they
Yeah.
are."
Yeah.
And
Mm.
I never did call his name till this day,
Mm-hmm.
and I still see him walking around. But I'm just thinking, how many other young boys, men that
Mm-hmm.
he has approached because he's telling me there's something about a man, so he's involved with some man
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what he's saying, right?
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what he's saying. Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
just think, he's sitting at the table with somebody right now,
Mm-hmm.
and he
Mm.
got a wife and a child and a church and he's leading folks. But here's what I'm thinking about this guy for the rest of my life. There's something about a man in his life.
Mm-hmm. Mm. That's a sickness, bro. That's sick. Rico, what's on your heart?
I'm seeing a trend, a continuous trend of misplaced values and low standards in society.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and once again, I go back to that word convenience. We don't realize we're addicted to convenience, and convenience has made us lazy. But sometimes we feel like some of the things we do, oh, it ain't gonna hurt nothing. It ain't that big a deal. Yeah, I ain't got no tissue to blow this out my nose, and I'm gonna blow it in my hand and just slang it somewhere and wipe it on my pants, and ain't
Mm.
nobody gonna see that, and it ain't gonna be a trace of it on my pants or shirt for somebody to see later on.
Mm.
And if they do see it, oh well, I had to blow my nose. See, our culture, we don't adapt to somebody else's culture first off. Because
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
I ain't mistaken, somebody had to go to Europe and teach people how to bathe and put
Mm-hmm.
the animals outside,
Mm-hmm.
not to sleep and lay all up in the bed with them and kiss all in the mouth with them. They still
Mm.
like to do that though. But somehow we
I like how
embrace
you, I like how
somebody
you
else's
I
standards
like how
and
you threw that in
ideology.
there. I like how you threw that in there.
So now we embrace their standards and ideology, and little by little we've seen our health deteriorate. We've seen our standards deteriorate, and we want to know where it comes from. It's because some of the things that we say is not a big deal is a very big deal.
Mm-hmm.
We could become nose blind, and what I mean by nose blind, you know that if you don't bathe and if you don't clean up, sooner or later you're gonna get a scent in your house
Exactly.
or
Yep.
your apartment or your car or whatever. If you don't clean it up, it's gonna start smelling like everything that's been in it and whatever is in that the most.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are in it, you're gonna get blind to it. You're gonna be comfortable with it because it's coming from you.
Yeah.
But now leave and go to somebody else's house and then come back home. Stay
Mm-hmm.
gone long enough and come back home and you're gonna start picking up smells. You're gonna see what you smell like when you go around people. See, I
Mm-hmm.
was like that with cigarettes. I went all these years smoking cigarettes, drinking. I knew drinking smell or had a smell to it, but I liked to drink.
Mm-hmm.
So I would put up with the smell just to enjoy the drunk or the buzz.
Mm-hmm.
So now same thing with cigarettes. I knew I was offending other people. I'd go to some women's house and man, I have my mindset that I'm fixing to have me a good one tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But she started smelling cigarette smoke in my braids. But she like playing in my hair, but she can't stand the smell of cigarette smoke.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it ain't no big deal because I'm comfortable with it. You get comfortable, you get nose blind, you get comfortable laying in funk.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're going through. And now the funk is getting too stinking. That's where
Mm-hmm.
the COVID is coming in. That's where MRSA is coming in at. So now we got to get back to the basics. And now that's sad that I got to call it basics. But
Mm-hmm.
we got to get back to the small basic necessities of hygiene
Yep.
just to save our lives because the things that we thought wasn't no big deal, blowing your nose in your hand and slanging it, then go walking straight into the gas station after you pump that gas. That
Mm-hmm.
same hand touched the gas pump.
Yep.
That same hand touched the door that you open up to go into the gas station to pay for your gas.
Mm-hmm.
Then it touched the money that
Mm-hmm.
thousands and thousands and thousands of people gonna touch after you. It's just
Exactly.
gonna circulate from here to Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no telling where that old snotty dollar bill gonna end up.
Exactly.
Your
Exactly.
DNA on it, your bacteria.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is, we have got comfortable, we got complacent, and we got to understand that we got to wake up and make more of an effort to do some of the small basic things.
Mm-hmm.
We done took hygiene for granted. We done took convenience for granted, and we've got so lazy that we've diminished the value of certain things. And Lord, I stand. If you walk in your house and see dishes in the sink, and you know they smell in your house is smelling, but you say, "Well, hey, I ain't worried about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see no problem with a sink full of dishes." You don't
Mm.
lower your standards.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have lowered the standards, and so society has done that on a wide scale.
Mm-hmm.
It's done it real big, and so now we suffering from it, and then we getting a wake up call. What do you do to prevent COVID? Keep your hands away from your mouth.
Yep.
Keep your hands away from your nose. Sanitize. I mean, there's things that we supposed to, those are things that you tell your children at 2 or 3 years old when they start walking. Don't touch that plug. Wash your
Mm-hmm.
hands. Don't put your hand in that toilet.
Mm-hmm.
This is the way you hold your tissue when you're trying to clean yourself after you do number two. You're training them to have good hygiene. But now
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden, as you get to be adults, you want to do what you want to do so bad that the small stuff don't matter. I don't need no tissue. Just let me make sure I got my phone in my or whatever in my pocket.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't worried about no tissue. I ain't worried about none of this other stuff that I need to keep my hands clean. I ain't worried about no sanitizer, even though we've been going through COVID for a year. Some people ain't bought no sanitizer or Lysol yet, but they got
Mm-hmm.
all kind of technical stuff, technology. So we got to get back to respecting the things that are important. And some of those things seem small, but believe it or not, they're major important. They're major valuable to our survival. If
Mm-hmm.
not, we'll be going through viruses left and right.
Exactly. Exactly. We are. We got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
K with the E, Kansas City.
K with the E. Good deal. Good deal. We got another caller too. We're gonna go to that call as well. But K, I want to ask you a question. This is way out of Wednesday. We don't have a topic. We just talk about what we want to talk about. I asked a question earlier, and it's something that a lot of people don't really think about. But K, when you go to a restaurant, your fancy restaurant, say your favorite restaurant, high scale restaurant, when you go in that restaurant and order your food, they bring your food out to you. You get your silverware and you eat, right? Ain't that typically what you do?
No,
Or you don't eat when you go to your restaurant?
I do. You said I grab my silverware and I eat.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
What you do?
I ask for a cup of water, a glass of water with no ice, and I put my silverware in it,
Okay, that's
and I
good.
wipe it off, and then I eat.
Now, a glass of water with ice in it. Why you use ice water?
No, I said no ice.
Oh, okay, okay. I thought you said with ice, and I was like, wait a minute, now, hold on now. What you trying to do? And see, that's the thing right there, and that's what we're talking about. See, Sadaria, she said she asked for a cup of boiling hot water, and she put it in there, and she cleaned the silverware. But most people, 8 out of 10 people, maybe even 9 out of 10 people, don't even think about it. They just go in there, they just get the silverware to eat the food, not knowing how many mouths that silverware has been in before it got to them, and even after.
And now I ask for plastic ware. I don't even use this silverware.
Say that one more time. You're a little muffled.
I ask for plastic ware.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. Because a lot of people, truth of the matter, a lot of people don't even do that. Don't even think about it, and they go in there and they eat the food, and like Donald said, it tastes so good. They eat the food, and that's where they are. That's exactly what they are. But that's not good. That's not good. I think we got Toya with the T with us as well. Toya with the T, you there? Good morning. How you doing this morning?
You know it. How you doing?
Okay.
Hello.
Hey, doing good now, Toya. Excuse me. Now, Toya, I know you in management in a lot of restaurants and stuff like that. So you know firsthand what what can that lead to when people go into the restaurants and they just take that silverware and they just eat.
Yeah, man. Let me tell you something. If you're working for me, it ain't gonna go down like that. You're gonna get that quality. But no, the truth is, we don't do right behind doors.
Mm-hmm.
We don't do well. We don't have a high amount of integrity when we do things anymore. So you'll see the spots and the pieces and the piece of food still left in the silverware and run them through and still roll them up.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't
Wow.
operate out of a high amount of integrity anymore when it comes to what we're doing. You just don't care and just want to throw it all in there and keep it moving. Oh, you should look at it. Oh, look at boiling hot water now. I think I make sure I do all of that too. But the truth of the matter is, if you don't have the leadership, when no matter where you go, food, supermarket, whatever, if the leadership doesn't care, doesn't have a high level of integrity and standards, then you're gonna eat bad food when you go burger.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get bad. You're gonna get more than a dirty fork with a piece of old collard greens molasses. This
Mm-hmm.
is something that we do. in every field. It's promises. If you're not paying attention to what you're doing, if you don't have a high standard of what's going on, you can get somebody in a real pickle with not paying attention, not having a high level of responsibility, not
Mm-hmm.
caring and having empathy about what happened to the person on the other side. So, when it comes to food, we're the doctors of the stomach. That's what I like to say.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you better pay attention and make sure this the scalpel is clean and it ain't been used.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, in a nutshell. But absolutely, man, you have to keep your guards up because when it comes to people outside, even if that's their job and
Mm-hmm.
even if that's their profession, most people do not have a high level of integrity to go with it. So you have to do your best to make sure you're taking care of yourself because it's real in the kitchen, boy.
Yeah, absolutely.
What? Man, don't get me started.
Mm-hmm. And somebody was talking about, and I know you being who you are, you're not going to allow this to happen on your watch at all. But they was talking earlier about if somebody sends some food, see if it's a fast food type of restaurant, and somebody sends some food back will complain. Sometimes they could get some extra ingredients or something like that in their food. Does that
I
happen?
wish you would. And you gonna get an extra throat up out of here. First of all, if you working for me, I don't take food back. Keep that. I'm gonna throw it in the trash anyway.
Mm-hmm.
What am I taking it back for? A Corona? I just saw somebody do this the other day with some food, trying to be cheap, talking about bringing it back with all this Corona going on. Is you kidding me? Nah, listen here, man. You can go ahead and keep that. What you said the problem was? All right, let me go ahead and correct the problem. We should.
Mm-hmm.
That is a standard that should never happen.
Yeah.
That's something that for years been dealing with
Mm-hmm.
food and even in the medical field. Once a person gets something, you let them keep it because of the germ
Yeah.
activity that's already there. So
Mm-hmm.
they keep that and you give them something fresh.
Yeah.
Something about Corona. We
Mm-hmm.
slipping on our standards.
Mm-hmm.
We're not doing things that we know we're supposed to. And here this old disease comes. I got to remind you, oh yeah, you gotta wash your plate after every time somebody uses it. But we should have been doing that anyway. You gotta
Mm-hmm.
wash your hands after you deal with every guest or a plate. But we should have been doing that anyway.
Exactly. Exactly. Tucson, talk to me, brother.
I was going through a drive-through one time, and they had some customers behind me, and I noticed they was a little long, and they the one that was tending the drive-through gave them their meal, and I saw them give them the meal back to them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess whose meal that was? They
Wow.
thought mine,
Mm.
that they had given to the people in front of me
Mm-hmm.
by mistake.
Yeah.
And when I got to it, they decided that they was going to give it to me. No,
No,
ma'am.
no, I don't want that.
I don't want that.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Matter of fact, give me my money back.
Yeah, yeah. I don't even want you to fix it now. Cause you now you
Now,
yeah. Got the people putting their hands all over my
yeah,
food. Go ahead.
yeah, but then I just thought about it. They didn't handle the money, so I'm still jacked up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, little things that we don't, little things that we don't think about, man. This conversation is bringing some light to some things that people are. Everybody's not clean,
mm-hmm. Exactly.
and it's just Rico mentioned something, but the people even treat their pets like families,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and man, I just you never know, man. It's just something, bro, because uh, yeah. I think I'm gonna hang up now.
No. No, brother. Hang out with us, brother. You doing good. You're doing good. So Dario, what's on your heart?
Thinking about the pet thing, it's two things I wanted to just say something about where the pets are concerned. It's just like if you have a mate and you're intertwined with them on a consistent basis, you begin to take on each other's body smells. You
Mm,
because you are interlinking through your pores, through sweat, through different things that you do as a couple. Well, people who sleep with their dogs. The dogs kiss them in the mouth. They
Mm.
really value their dogs. That same thing happens with an animal. When you keep an animal that close at bay constantly, then you begin to take on the smells of the animal, either in your
Mm.
hair, in your skin. You have dog hair in your clothing. You have dog dander, which most people can't see if it's a short haired dog. You still have dog dander. Same thing with a cat. And that's why you can be around certain people who value their pets and then they smell that same way. They smell like their animal. And so
Mm.
this is even people in farming because they're around animals all day. They have a different body scent that they carry with them. And because, as Rico said, they become nose blind to that scent, it doesn't mean other people can't smell it when you come around them. So that's one thing I wanted to say. The other thing I wanted to say was, because this is something I teach, we were talking about the preferences of some people sexually, and as far as that being a hygiene issue as well, people don't understand that when they are intertwined with someone in a physical manner, that person may have been intertwined with uh, both sexes or other sexes,
Mm.
not necessarily being faithful in a marriage or whatever, a relationship. Then those things are spiritual. So then now you taking on spirits of other people, and you taking them in the bedroom with your spouse. And then when your spouse started acting a certain way, and in a way they weren't acting before, it's because you're sharing the spirits of other people, and it's called sexual soul ties. And people aren't dealing with that, but it's a real thing. And I'll tell you how I know. I experienced it in a relationship where I was being monogamous, and then the person in my relationship decided not to be monogamous. And then when they became intimate with me, I realized that I stored desiring things I had never thought about desiring before, and
Mm.
I couldn't figure it out. I started having certain type of feelings that I hadn't experienced before, and I couldn't figure out, well, where did this come from all of a sudden? So when I learned about sexual soul ties, then I learned to understand what had happened to me, because I found out later that that person wasn't being faithful and that they had been with many other people. So
Mhm.
that's another thing that we don't look at it as hygiene, but that's how we develop appetites for certain things that maybe we never had appetites before to
Mhm.
have. So that's another thing I wanted to share, because I was listening to Donald sharing the story about the minister or pastor, and
Mhm.
he developed that appetite from somewhere, because it's
Okay.
not a natural appetite.
Absolutely, absolutely. And let me go to K with the E. K with the E. What's on your heart, sis?
Trying to get off mute.
Mm-hmm.
Just listening, just listening.
Okay. Okay. Good deal. Good deal. Tucson, something on your heart, brother? So Tucson said he gonna hang up. Rico, I'll be on standby, brother. Coming to you next.
And I'm glad she mentioned spirituality, because um, we have to put that in there, because we think physically, but we don't think spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
How damaging it is to the spirit of a man
Mm-hmm.
to exchange different things with other people, even to the point where you don't even realize it.
Mm-hmm.
So how did I get this habit that I can't shake? Or where did this feeling come from all of a sudden?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you in commune with different people, and some of them you've never met in your life,
Mm.
because we don't fight against flesh and blood, but there are spiritual wickedness in high places. I just wanted to put that in there for free,
For free.
because hey, just think about it. How many people have you contacted this week? Had
Mm-hmm.
made contact with this week? Just think about it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, even the money that you have in your pocket. How many people have had their hand on that wrinkle
Mm-hmm.
$20 bill or five? Ones go in many places, especially church.
Mm-hmm.
You seldom find $100 bill, but you find a lot of ones.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Exactly. Exactly. Toya, oh, I'm sorry, Rico. I said we're gonna come to you next. Toya, come to you next. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
Yeah, them same ones come from between women's legs sometimes too,
Mm-hmm.
and they be sweaty, have all kind of liquids and juices all on them, perfume, bath and body work, you name it, natural scents and juices, you name it, all on them same little $1 bill. You ever went to the church and gave up, put their dollars in there? You like, man, this dollar smells good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't smell some real good smelling dollars. I know where they came from. Woo woo. But this is one thing we got to realize before we get too spiritual. We got to realize we human beings are physical bacteria. Scientifically, we have been considered bacteria, which means we are vulnerable to so many other different viruses that can do damage to us. They can attack us, kill us, harm us. They might make things better for us or make things worse. So, we had to come up with these things called antibiotics to protect ourselves. And then all of a sudden we get comfortable and we stop doing the things hygienically that we need to protect ourselves as bacteria, vulnerable, susceptible bacteria. So now you see this going on. People not really ready to conform, and then they don't understand. The universe gonna make you get right. Either you can see, because there's consequences behind these viruses getting to us if we don't protect ourselves, if we don't utilize the correct hygiene. There are so many illnesses and stuff. I mean, think about it. Babies have to get shots now. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
shots that they didn't have to get in the past, but the world has evolved so much now that children have to come to the world and get vaccines. They have to get vaccines to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't vaccinate yourself or protect yourself, sanitize yourself properly, there's a consequence. There's a
Mm-hmm.
repercussion behind it. And sooner or later, if enough people stop appreciating that vulnerability and disrespecting the fact that they can be damaged or harmed, the earth and the universe is going to show you. Boom, get you a little bit of this MRSA. See if you can stop it. So
Mm-hmm.
y'all had penicillin with y'all. I gave y'all the brain and the mindset to come up with this medication to help yourself. But now y'all want to get a little nastier. You
Mm-hmm.
think penicillin work for everything, so now you don't even want to wear condoms. I got some for that too. Penicillin don't work no more. Bye y'all. Gonorrhea don't evolve.
Mm-hmm.
You gonna get right. You little bacteria, you little human bacteria, you gonna get right. You think you immune, you think you invisible, you think you God. You only God like. I'll show you that you're a human. I'll hit you with some diseases and some viruses that'll take your butt on up out of here. Or you could do something simple like sterilize and sanitize your body, protect your life. Hygiene, like I said, we take it for granted. It seems small. Washing your hands,
Mm-hmm.
blowing your nose in your hand, touching doors. 1,000 more people don't touch the same doors with that same snot, without their own personalized snot
Mm-hmm.
or whatever it is they touch. And now you exposed to it. You don't know this person. This person might just be traveling through from some other state,
Yep.
just
Mm-hmm.
traveling through, and he full of bacteria. Now he
Mm-hmm.
done started a whole epidemic in your city. And where did the source come from? This gas station handle on this pump
Mm-hmm.
is the source of the cause of this disease or whatever. So, we either gonna respect our humanity, we're gonna respect our mortality, we're gonna respect our vulnerability, or the universe is gonna get us right.
Mm-hmm.
But these little things that we consider unimportant, non-valuable, like I said, we take for granted keeping ourselves clean. being nose blind, just I don't feel like doing it. I'm gonna keep doing what I want to do instead of doing what I need to do. You want to keep lowering your standards and having low value, then the universe gonna make you get right, cause they got diseases and all kind of things that come with you not taking care of yourself.
Exactly. So you with the T, talk to me, sis.
Hey, listen, we got one more time to call me overgrown. That's basically That's basically every time he's like, we human century. That's what it sounds like. This is calling me a big grown booger. We putting that shit. Not for sure. But no, that's fact. Listen, y'all remember back in the days where somebody listened on your doorstep, mama would have a fit. Don't you pick it up, put that in the house. Don't bring it in it. These energies, these energies is real. You know what I'm saying? It's deeper than food. That's fact. That's something that I will always teach as a food manager. Your energy needs to be right when it comes up in here. When it comes to cooking food, you got to cook it with love. I don't care if it is fast food. And if you got an attitude, you can't stay here. Attitude is contagious. Get up out of here. I'm the head of this terms. What you got an attitude for? I'm here working all day. So I believe in energies. I believe in spirits being on objects and floating. That's what we forget about that spirit world. You know what I'm saying? And I know we would like to forget about the spirit, but what are we outside of flesh? Spirit. You need spirit to move. So the spirit world is real. You know what I'm saying? That home realm is something else. But if you understand it, you know that when spirits are not of good or not of God, you can expect different things to come. What? Still, kill, and destroy. That is the spirit behind that.
Absolutely.
The men, the women, the kids, the spirit of sorriness, the spirit of excellence. All of that stuff is the spirit that we take for granted and it passes on. You know what I mean? We really have to pay attention to what we do, even the spirit of wickedness, the spirit of goodness. We sleep on the spirits that are driving, and even with sickness, I battle this on a regular too. With a lot of Christian people on where sickness really come from. What did God say it came from? What did God say it came from? But then we want to be in the world and pick from the world where it came from. So we got to find that true valid ground that I don't think we have, because that spills into how you're going to go to work and do things. That spills into passing around dirty dollars. But Rico is right, man. Spirits travel just like bacteria. You don't know it. Spirit on that honey, that he just a spirit mixing, that dollar go from here to China and back again. It's a hate thing. He would even drink a dollar bill. He was trying to get rid of.
Exactly.
So we don't really pay no attention, man. So we gonna hit some very valid points about the universe. We have to pay attention, and oftentimes our spirit will lead us and guide us. We got to pay attention, man. But no, man, good conversation.
Exactly. Good deal. Good deal. And some of the stuff that we're talking about today, people don't even give it a second thought. They never thought about it. They just go on their merry little way and they do what they have to do. Don't worry about going to the bathroom and when you wash your hands, use the napkin to open the door. They don't worry about stuff like that. How does the sink look? How are you gonna get clean hands out of a dirty sink? Tucson, talk to me, brother.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know, man. Especially when you don't wash the sink, you just reuse it.
Mm-hmm.
Do people even clean out the tub
Mm.
or the sink after they finish? They
Mm.
just jump in or just wipe their face, wash their face out the sink, put
Mm.
water in the
Yep.
sink, and just wash it up, wash
Mm-hmm.
up other folks' germs,
Yep. Yep.
or your last germs, or your
Mm-hmm.
kids' germs,
Mm-hmm.
somebody germs. You know, you look and how do you get a ring around your bathtub? So go in there right now
Mm-hmm.
and clean your bathtub,
Exactly.
clean
Exactly.
your sink.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people don't think about that, but rings around the tub don't just get there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm just like,
I'm gonna tell you something. My mom, when I was little, man, I wanted to go outside and play. Mom had cooked breakfast and everything. Mom had cooked breakfast, and I wanted to go outside and play. I want to go outside and play with my little friends. That's what we do. That's what young folks do. Mom had cooked breakfast and everything. She said, go in there and clean the kitchen. Go in there and wash them dishes. Oh man. Oh man, I don't wash no doggone dishes. I went in the kitchen, ran the water, put the dishes in the sink, got to washing the dishes. She came in and she was staring at me for a minute. She said, and mama, she probably listened this morning. She is mama call in. But you know the number 678-381-1973. But she said, boy, what you doing? I said, Mama, I'm washing the dishes. She came out, she looked at the sink, and somehow she knew that I didn't clean the sink out before I made the fresh bath water, Lord, water to wash the dishes. She noticed that I didn't clean the sink out, and she asked me. She said, "Did you clean the sink?" My mama cleaned the sink for the water. The water clean. She let the water out. Told me to take the dishes out and wash the sink out. And she looked at me. She said, and that it came to me when I said what I said a few minutes ago. She said, "You can't get clean dishes out of a dirty sink. How you gonna do that?" So, Tucson, how do you do that? If the sink is dirty, like we talked about the dishwasher earlier, if it's dirty, how you gonna get clean dishes? Tucson, Tucson, wake up and go to sleep. Wake up and go to sleep. Toya, what the T talk to me?
Yeah, Tucson had to go ahead and close that door real quick, but he'll be right back. Anyway, no, man, let me tell you again. It is deep, another thing I'm thinking about is the further we get away from God, the further we get away from the things we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
We just can't stand it.
Mm-hmm.
We just will not. But I'm gonna get a little bit deeper. Because we're talking about rings around tubs, and we're talking about stuff being passed around. But the ultimate uh, value of a person's body
Mm-hmm.
should be looked at. Like when we lay down with people, I don't think you can be scared of a ring around the tub and you can share juices with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And we do all kind of things with mouths and stuff like that. And when you do that with somebody in under 72 days, what you think they care about a ring around a tub?
Mm-hmm.
What they care about a corona or washing a hand when you just gave yourself, your body to some person in under 72 hours?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Like that's not gonna, that don't equate up to each other. 9 times out of 10, you don't value yourself. On a high value, then you're probably gonna not value other things in life. And that's Corona, I think, showed us that. You know what I'm saying? We didn't value our teachers. We thought it was a teacher's fault. But when Corona came up, that we saw what monsters we really raised.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like the life that we really just went through, we really should acknowledge that the problem is us. We caused the filth. We caused the nastiness.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't the sink. The sink ain't did nothing by itself. It's your filthy behind going washing
Come
and
on.
not cleaning up after you wash. But
Mm-hmm.
that's in life. We want to go around and we want to do life and we want to have sex with people we don't know with no intent, no agenda, hundreds of them, or dozens of them, whatever. And we don't understand the filth and the mess we cause and we never go back and clean it up.
Mm-hmm.
You
That's
don't walk
good.
around, make babies, not take care of them. You want to walk around, not work, not pay bills, not work, not do a lot of stuff. And it causes a mess, and that's dirty. And we
Mm-hmm.
never go back and clean it up, just like doing around the sink.
Come on. Mm-hmm.
So,
Exactly.
like, as humans, again, we will not understand the dominion. I was talking to somebody last night about computers. Why do we think computers are smarter than us when we created the computers?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Like humans, man. Like, we got to understand who we are. We got to understand the position that we play in this world.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think an alien touches it. Sorry, I don't care what an alien could create, an indestructible metal. I don't care what the alien create. I'm the supreme being. I am created in the image of a God. And we forget that.
Mm-hmm. Come on.
It's a campaign to make us forget that
Mm-hmm.
we are creators. And if your sink is dirty, It ain't got nothing to do with nobody else. Let's go. Here we go back in the mirror again. If
Mm-hmm.
you get up and look in the mirror, and the mirror reflects ugliness, you don't get mad at the mirror. You need to check you.
Exactly. Story, you talk to me, sis.
I'm
There you
here.
yes.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
here. I'm
What's
walking, so I'm having all kind of technical difficulties.
oh, it's
But
okay.
I was just listening to the precept or concept of science versus spirituality. And in my mind, God created it all. Science, universe, energy, and all of these names everybody have come up with because they don't want to connect God to Jesus. Because for so many years, when you heard the word God, it was connected to Jesus. And so now we have conveniently come up with names that don't reflect Jesus. And it's okay. Well, what we was talking about is spirits. And even in science, because molecular structures cannot be seen with the naked eye, nor can micrograms or any of these other things that we're talking about. They might as well be a spirit because we can't see God Himself as the spirit, but we can see the effects of Him being the spirit that created all things. So it's the same thing with science. We may not can see all of the things that God has given man the mind to come up with and then label it science, but it's still all spirit and it's still all godly. And you asked the question about washing dishes in a dirty sink. We can look at that physically. That's not a possibility because you have the word dirty in the sentence. But it's the same way as Toya was saying with our lives, how we try to wash away dirt when we haven't cleaned out the sink, which is our spiritual insides. So, this spiritual thing goes much further than just connecting it to your specific God. It
Mm-hmm.
goes further than that and it's deeper than that. And anything that you try to use as a word to substitute the creator of all things, you still have to understand that that word came because of the creator of all things.
Mm-hmm.
So when we talk about spirit, we're talking about air, we're talking about, the clouds and how they look. Man cannot create clouds. It's just certain things that man is never ever in a lifetime gonna be able to do, and that's because it's spiritual. So as Toya was saying, and Rico and Donald and all of us are saying it in the same way but in different references. Everything starts with the spirit of a person. Their nasty behavior starts with what's in their spirit. And
Mm-hmm.
as things are developed in their spirit, it began to manifest outwardly. And anything that's in someone's spirit, eventually you're going to see it outside the person.
It
So
will. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
that's that's all I wanted to say. Other than it's a great conversation.
I appreciate it, sis. Definitely appreciate it. We got another caller from the 803 area code. 803 area code. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Good morning, it's Sherelle.
Good morning, Sherelle. How you doing this morning?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Hey, doing well. You been listening to us?
No, actually, I'm just calling in. What's
Okay.
the topic?
Well, today is Way I Wins. We talk about all kind of different things. We don't have a topic. We just talk about, whatever we want to, freelance pretty much. And I'm asking the question, when you go to a restaurant, say Sherelle, you go to your favorite restaurant and
Mm.
you go, you're seated, you order your food and your food come out. What do you do next?
I order my food and my food come out.
Yes.
What do I do next?
Yes.
I look at my food to make sure it's straight.
Mm-hmm. And then you eat it, right?
Right.
Okay. Have you ever thought about, or have you ever considered? Because this is what we're talking about right now. That's that is silverware, the knife, the fork, and maybe even the spoon that you're using to eat your food. How many people had that in their mouths before it got to your table, before it got to your meal? Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah, I look at that too.
Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people, eight out of 10 people probably don't even give it a second thought. They go to the restaurant, they sit down to eat, and if they were to get ill from that silverware because the person before them and they say they clean it, but how well do they clean it? Because we also talked about the dishwasher that they use to clean it with is dirty within itself because all kind of food and stuff, bacteria has been built up inside of that our dishwasher. So what's on your heart, sis? Talk to me. Are we off base here?
I, no, I mean that is a good topic. I mean that is something to think about.
Mm-hmm.
But we go in there trusting that all that silverware is going to be clean and stuff like that. So that's where trust comes in.
Mm-hmm.
So we go in there trusting that silverware is clean, that food is cooked thoroughly, and it's not. We're raised. Some of us are raised fans. Some of us won't.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how we do. We go in there trusting.
Yeah. Okay. But is that a good thing though? Because we could be putting ourselves in harm's way.
We do that every day when we wake up and walk out the door.
Mm-hmm.
We could possibly but we trust that when we go outside that we're protected. We trust that we're going to get to work okay.
Mm-hmm.
When we get in that car, we trust that nothing's going to happen. So every day we take a risk.
Mm-hmm.
So, every day you wake up and walk out that door, you're taking a risk.
Mm-hmm.
Or every day you wake up and walk in your kitchen, you're taking a risk.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So every day.
Okay. Good deal. We got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Cassandra calling from Atlanta.
The Thug Pastor. Boy, we got the Thug Pastor with a good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
I'm well.
Good. Cassandra, we're talking about silverware in a restaurant and how a lot of times people don't take the time to even consider who had the silverware in their mouth before they eat their meal. Could we be putting ourselves in harm's way by doing that?
No, I mean, even if they're meeting the minimum requirements, you should be okay. I mean, some people just ask for plastic and keep it that way. Just ask for the plastic. And if they feel that, in fact, if you feel that way, maybe you shouldn't even go out to eat. Stay home, eat your own food with your own silverware. But I will not live in that kind of paranoid world. I just won't. I mean, like who was it, Kate? That Kate that just talked?
No. That's Sherelle.
Oh. Okay, Sherelle. Well, just like she said, we take risk every day. Everything we do is a risk to us. So no, I won't live in that kind of no.
Okay. Rico, are you still with us, brother? I see your phone line still up. I thought you was gonna take off for a second. Are you still with us? Rico, are you there? Yeah, I thought his head stepped away for a second. Tucson, talk to me. Is that paranoia, Tucson? Tucson done. Man, we done knocked Tucson over or something, ain't it? Toy, you want to see what you do to Tucson? Toy, you want to see? Let me ask you the same question. Is that our paranoia?
No, it's not a paranoia. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You got to be careful about all this stuff. Like driving down the street, you wear a seatbelt in the case of an accident. You get insurance in case of an accident. You know what I'm saying? It's not like paranoia, but it can happen. So you just need to, be protected in the meantime. You know what I mean? But no, I mean, it's possible. At the end of the day, this is where God come in at, because that's real too. All that stuff is real. So he said when he got you, man, you ain't got to be thinking and carrying on and be worried about all of that. You ain't got to be worried. Oh, what I'm on. You don't have to worry about that with God.
Mm-hmm.
because he's very well aware that it's reality. But he's very well aware that he's the Most High, and he's your child, and it's his job, it's his duty, it's his very existence to keep his children protected.
Mm-hmm.
So why are you going to worry about that when you know God got you?
Mm-hmm.
There's no need to worry about the dirty fork, honey. Listen, let me tell you something. It could be a boo-boo fork for all I care. I mean, God got me covered. That means I'm just gonna be cool. They're gonna be walking around talking about how you do that after you ate hepatitis C.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. You know what I'm saying? But no, it's a reality, the things that happen. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
Someone tells the story, or this a story that needs to be told, and it's a true story. I mean, it's reality. It's not
Mm-hmm.
about paranoia. It ain't. It's only paranoia when you don't have no results. But as soon as it happens, it's like, no, I thought they were paranoid. No, it's reality, man. This hadn't happened to you yet. But no, we need to know who God is and what He declares over us, and not be, worrying about something that we know that the Lord said is not already going to be able to form, not going to be able to prosper.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Good deal. Good deal. Tucson, are you back with us? Sure. I'm sorry. So you talk to me, sister.
I want to say the word wisdom. Wisdom. You know, I went around with the same attitude, which I firmly believe that, if I pray and I anointed myself and anointed my house, that, because I believe that I was unctioned by the Spirit to do that when the pandemic first hit. And I did that. And yet I almost died from the pandemic. I ended up
Mm-hmm.
in the hospital in a coma from the pandemic. So my word is going to be wisdom. We live in a world of wickedness, and God gives us wisdom. And I think He intends for us to use it in every situation. I don't equate that as paranoia. I equate that as wisdom. There are simple things that I can do to protect my life. And God doesn't work in our life like a genie that we rub and say, okay, God, I'm rubbing on you now because I might be in a desperate situation. Or, okay, God, oh my goodness. Can you guys hear that?
What's that? No, we just hear you.
Okay. So we, we tend to sometimes void out God as being the God that gives us wisdom to make choices and decisions. So in the situation we're talking about wisdom. I don't think we're speaking about paranoia. Someone used the example of a car and protecting yourself with car insurance. But then in the same token, even though you have car insurance, you don't just get in a car and start driving and don't pay attention to where you're going, because that wouldn't be wisdom. So
Mm-hmm.
God gives us wisdom, and I think when we exercise that wisdom in every situation, that's just being wise and not necessarily paranoid.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
I agree. It can be both ways. That's one thing about it. In this wide world we live in, you're gonna get a variety of different reasons and responses. And with some people it will be paranoia and OCD, and then with some people it'll be justified. I mean, because this is what I realized. Sometimes faith is convenient. So people will say, well, you know what? Before I just make an effort or make a choice or make a decision, I just leave it in God's hands because this is what I want to do. So I'm gonna just go ahead and go this route. You didn't even want to use no faith, no wisdom or no logic. You just wanted to do what you want to do, and what you would say was, I hope for the best. I got faith that what I want to accomplish is going to happen. Maybe this won't be such a big issue. Maybe it won't be that bad. I mean, we still got to understand we got to make an effort. At one point in time, life expectancy for a human being probably didn't go past 45.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're reaching up in the late 60s and early 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Now the effort made for us to do that. That didn't just happen because we prayed over our food, or because we didn't wash our hands, or because we didn't study science, or that we didn't understand that we are human beings that are mortal, that are bacteria, that are susceptible to things that we can't control. I don't care how much praying. If I put it to you this way, some of the things you better hope and pray for a miracle if you didn't make an effort to make sure you did your part. You get what I'm saying? See, we got to understand our place. We understand our place, and we will understand the truth. We can't walk around in fear, but at the same time, we have to understand that we are vulnerable. You just can't be too comfortable to the point to where you just say, well, you know what? Whatever happened, happened. Just let me do what I feel like doing. YOLO. You only live once. Let me do what I do. I prayed over it. I prayed over the food. I prayed over this trip. Even though I didn't put no antifreeze or oil in it, I didn't check my tires. I just want to drive from Alabama to California because I got a car. And a car is supposed to make it if I get in there, crank it up and drive it. And if it don't make it, I'm going to be mad at the car. But what about your part? Did you go and get all the system checks up done? Did you get a tune up? Did you check the spark plug? Did you see if you had any wear and tear on your tire? Did you need a rotation? So you still got to understand the part that you got to play. Because if it was all about a wing and a prayer, none of us would make it to 60 or 70 years old. We got to understand our place. Our place is to make sure that we have standards and values that we live by so we can live to older ages comfortably, 70 and 80 years old. And it's possible for us to do it. But we do have to understand and respect our mortality. Yeah, we could pray and we could go with all the spirituality we want to. But you still got to make an effort to clean that tub, wash that sink, wash your butt, brush your teeth. You still got to make that effort. You just can't say, well, you know what? God made dirt don't hurt, and go on about your business. I'm cool with it. Yeah, because y'all don't like the way I smell. I'm cool with it. No, because there's something else that come with that filth. Unless you don't mind dying early, unless you don't mind going through diseases and illnesses at a young age. If you want to leave up out here early, then go ahead and say, well, you know what? I ain't got no standards and values. I don't have to make an effort. I'm just going to do what I do.
Exactly.
So, you know, we really have to understand how important it is that we don't take this life that we have for granted, because there was a point in time where people didn't make it past 55. 55, if you made it to 55, you were considered you accomplishing a goal. Now we're making it to 70, and we're saying we ain't got to worry, or we shouldn't worry as much about the things that we had to do to get us to this point. You know, there's been a history of pandemics and plagues, bubonic, all kind of plagues that came from filth, not just from natural occurring things that came up. Like, you know, they want to say COVID was natural occurring. Who knows? You know, but then even if it was naturally occurring, just like anthrax, who's to say that by you not practicing good hygiene that you won't be putting yourself in danger of somebody putting anthrax spores in the letter? Now, you can't live in fear, but at the same time, it don't help for you to practice good hygiene. Absolutely. It don't hurt.
Absolutely. Let's go to Sherelle. Sherelle, what's on your heart, sis?
Oh, I agree with what he just said. I agree with everything he just said. You know, it's going to be all types of different ways of going about things. Does it necessarily mean they're wrong? No. Does it necessarily mean they're right? No. But I agree. I agree 100% with what he just said.
Okay, good deal. Good deal. Let's go to, hold on, we got another call coming through. Let me get this call. We got another call from the 470 area code. 470, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Nah, this just me, Raheem.
Oh, okay, got you. What's on your heart, sis?
I just want to make sure. Can you hear me better now?
Yes, much better. Much better.
Yeah, you sound awesome.
Okay.
Look, finally, the singing voice came through. Go ahead, sis.
Okay, yeah, no. So I got disconnected. What happened? I don't know.
I think it did it to Rico too. I don't know what's going on. It's the system thing. We ain't worried about that. What's going on? What's on your heart?
Okay, what was the last question you asked?
Angle. Rico, give her the skinny of what you just said, brother.
About us still understanding our mortality, our place as human beings. That, you know, we could you know, we don't want to live in fear and live in a bubble, but at the same time, we still have to make an effort to do the small things. Because, you know, at one point in time, life expectancy didn't get past 47 or 55 years old. And then there were certain things we had to do to get to the point where people live longer. And now some of those things we've taken for granted. And you know, like I said, the universe is correcting itself. You know, if we want to
Mm-hmm.
live long, we got to make an effort just to practice small hygiene because, you know, we know our mortality. We know we are vulnerable. We are invincible. And sometimes praying and over food and praying over a trip ain't going to be enough. You still got to make your effort.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And no, and that's real. Like we don't acknowledge who we are as human beings. And as a matter of fact, we don't want the responsibility. We want to give it to the government or the president or the mayor
Mm-hmm.
or the spouse. As humans, we don't understand our individual power. It takes me back to the computer thing, right? You just can't do nothing without phones no more. I don't remember that we had to know all the numbers, some addresses, and we had to find a way to get there. And then we had to find the best. Oh, we want to simplify this. We created computers, and now we walking around here like we just can't live without computers. We can't live without microwave, but we gave that responsibility to the computers.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to walk around with it no more. We as humans, we don't want the responsibility of the power that we truly have.
Mm-hmm.
And this
That's
is
good.
where we have problems at. Oh, you do this because you're black.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you act this way because you're white. No, you as a human being, black or white, got the individual power to take a life. We don't even understand it. We play with it. We think it's a joke. We think it's because we act on the show or a movie that we have the individual power to do that. And then there's no other powers behind it. So, no, you're absolutely right. We, as humans, all humans, I think some of the ones that understand it, and I hate to say it, is the Pharisees, the Pharaohs.
Mm-hmm.
They understand the power. That's why they go get people and enslave them and do what they do, honey. And they worry about the consequences when they die. But we so scared to start a business, we're not scared to sell drugs.
Mm-hmm.
So scared to start a business, not scared to do drugs. So scared to jump out there on faith, but not scared to have sex with someone in under 72 hours.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
We give that power up.
Mm-hmm. Cassandra, what's on your heart? Since I want you to speak on what we're talking about right now, and I want to add something else to the question as well. What do you think, Cassandra? Because you've been dealing with people for a long time in this arena, but what is the bridge? What do you think the bridge is in 2021, soon to be 2022, to this race divide that we have? Cassandra, Cassandra, you there?
She may have been on that last phone call that got dropped.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the line, man. It seems like everybody's here, but yeah, there's something going on with the line. I don't know what that is. Let's go to K with the E. K with the E. What do you think the bridge is for this race divide in 2022? What is the bridge that's going to bring people together?
You said, what's the bridge that's going to bring them together?
Yes.
Debt.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's what does it. A person can stand this person, that person, and somebody can die, whether it's family or friends, and y'all all end up in the same place for that one person.
Mm-hmm.
That's always bring people together. You cannot be speaking to somebody, and somebody in the family can pass away, and you'll go to it. If a person can go to a funeral and still act like that, then that's it's really bothering them, and they need to go to some counseling.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's good. Cassandra, you back with us? Okay, we might have lost because, like I said again, something going on with the phone lines here.
But that's the network. You know how the network fails, so
yeah, probably
sound messed up out there.
Mm-hmm. Probably so. Yeah, because like I said, people dropping off the call. Now I don't know why they're dropping off like that. It's just something with the system. But Sadaria, what's on your heart?
You asked the question
Go
about
ahead.
when they wash their hands and they wash their hands in a dirty sink.
Yes.
Your hand ain't even supposed to touch the sink.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But if the sink is dirty and the faucet is dirty, then the water coming through the faucet gonna have some filaments into this world, isn't it?
You can't. The water coming through the faucet and the faucet being dirty. I don't know. See, y'all, my mama and them was country parents, so they taught us all that. Like take our shower report and take the little metal brush and scrub around there because that residue and stuff sticking there. People don't know that.
Yeah.
That way it works right. I got to take the report and clean it with a metal brush.
But see,
So
but
my
when
mama
you
had
when
it
when
clean
you're
her
in a public
sink like that.
place though, when you're in a public place or public restaurant or something like that, they're not doing that stuff like they're not doing it like that. If it's dirty,
They not.
it's
They don't
dirty.
even clean the publishing for the food service class, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why I don't like fountain drinks because if they not properly cleaning it and sanitizing it, we would never know how we would get sick from
Mm-hmm.
eating out the public.
Exactly. Exactly.
So,
Sherelle.
like they said, you gotta have a lot of trust and faith in people because
Mm-hmm.
we don't know them people.
Don't know them at all. Excuse me. Sherelle, are you with us? Sherelle, are you there? See, these phone lines are tripping. Rico, talk to me, brother.
You see, that's big what she said. You have to have a lot of trust and faith in people, but we know people. You don't
Mm-hmm.
personally, but you do know that we live in a world where people love convenience and they like to get stuff out the way and done quickly, especially stuff they don't feel like doing. Now imagine, we take a job for granted. We go to the job and get paid and tell them what we ain't gonna do. I ain't working hard today. Put on all that mess. So you have people come in and they already got their mind made up. They don't want to work hard. But those dishes coming in a little too fast. The place, man, today a busy day. And you work at a buffet. Those dishes coming through a little too fast. So you might take some shortcuts. We know how people are. If it doesn't benefit them or they take a job for granted, they're not going to go through and thoroughly make sure that those dishes are washed. Maybe they're on a time schedule. See, this is the thing about it. We work on jobs and stuff right now. Well, quantity is more than quality. So it's more about the speed. Maybe they do have enough plates out there on the buffet table for everybody to use, but there's so many people there that they know people gonna run through the places. Some people gonna have 2 or 3 plates, just using them at will, loosely. Now here it is on this busy day. You got to keep these dishes out there. You got to keep these plates out there. What you gonna do? You bagging up. You might be shorthanded. Are you gonna go through and do a very good quality job and risk getting fired and fussed at? Or you gonna do what makes you feel best to get through that job, make it to the end of the day more comfortable? Because that boss man might be on your back, but you don't want to put a dirty dish out there. You don't want to put a dirty product out there. So now here it is. You got a choice to make. Am I gonna do this for speed? Get all these utensils out here so they can keep on feeding these people. And some of them going to run across some dirty forks. They're going to run across a dirty spoon or a dirty plate here and now. But do I want to worry about getting fussed at for those few dirty plates or dirty forks that they come across? Or do I want to just let the rat get a little low, but I'm giving them very clean dishes? I mean, so we have a choice to make. We have a choice to make, and it's all about our value. Once again, if you're in the service industry, you have to really, truly, you shouldn't be in the service industry if you are concerned about the public's hygiene or health or safety. That should be one of the number one priorities as a person working in the service industry. You want to make sure that the customers that you serve come in, they're not getting sick or ill based off of something that you did. You don't want to be a contributor to somebody's downfall, especially when they will come in to patronize your business. They will come in and patronize your establishment to help you succeed. But that's one thing we got to understand, going back to what was said earlier. A long life expectancy, a lifespan, longevity, that is pretty much what a sign of success is. If the average male or female was expected to live to 80 or 84, 85 years old, that would be a positive thing. That means everywhere around this world or wherever that life expectancy has risen, we've been doing a great job as far as our evolvement and progress in life. So, with us going this far and progressing to the point that we have, we still have to understand that it was the basics, sticking to the basics and keeping those as part of our everyday routine are the things that makes us get to this point that we are in. We got to remain consistent. We got to be disciplined.
Mm-hmm.
We also got to be very appreciative of where we came from. Or we can end up in the same situation where life expectancy is back down to 55. And if it gets back down, if life expectancy decreases from what it is now, we aren't doing our job.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. So, Dario, what's on your heart? Good job, too, Rico. Appreciate that, brother.
I was listening to Kay's answer. I think it was Kay's answer to your question about what would bring mankind together, no matter what the nationality. And she used the word death. And I can fully agree with that, because in just sitting here thinking as to what would bring people together, that was the only thing that I could think that would bring people together, even when they're divided, is with a death. We kind of saw that with uh, the death of Floyd. It brought all nationalities of people together because they were appalled at human life being taken, one, where they could see it, and two, callously, over something that was really foolish. So then the people came together and rallied about that because of the death itself. So the only thing really truly that would bring races, nationalities, ethnicities, whatever you want to say, together is death in all races, nationalities, and ethnicities. Death, unmeaningful, uncalled for deaths will bring people together because they will want to come together and rally together to find out how to resolve the problem and how to come up with a solution. There's only one other thing I wanted to say about something I heard. The scripture says that God gives us everything being an all-inclusive word, meaning nothing lacking, nothing missing, pertaining to life and godliness. So here you have two things. He gives us everything pertaining to life. That means our everyday living, meaning that he gives us the mindset to know how to live in a life that we were created to live in. That means wisdom. That means asking questions. That means making decisions. That means making choices. That means integrity. That means all the things that we're talking about. But he said he also gave us godliness. And if we exercise godliness, not just in the fact, see, people only think of God as a controlling God. God is a loving God. And so if we operate in the godliness of loving, a whole lot of things would disappear in the world that we live in. So he said he gave us everything to be perfect in those two things, life and godliness. And people could say, well, we're not perfect. Well, God made every human being perfect. Their choices make them respond and react imperfectly. But God didn't create anything imperfect.
Good deal. Good
So
deal. Yeah.
that's all I wanted to share.
Okay, good deal. I want to pull some more people in. We got a few more minutes before we get out of here. I want to definitely pull some more people in. So, Toy, you with a T. Sister, talk to me. What's on your heart?
No, absolutely, she's right. The direction she's going down about that perfection. That's another thing I'm talking about. We don't know our power. We think we're imperfect, and then we want to run away and think we can't use those powers. But that's not true. We just have to use them for the right thing, because everything is going to show something, and I think that when we look at history, the wars that took place in order for each generation to rebuild, from the Egyptians down to Rome, down to medieval, down to us with slavery time. We don't look at the turn that it takes to be the world. We don't look at the drama that has ensued for us to be able to live. Humanity. Because we only fighting against other humanity because of whatever we want to say it is. We Jew, we white, we black, or whatever. But no, that's where this war is coming at. This next civil war, right? That's what it's gonna take. That last war that Bible talk about, that's what it's gonna take. But this is gonna be the end all or be all when we win in the end. Because now we're not fighting about black or white, really. That's an illusion. We're fighting against good and evil. And we keep forgetting that. We keep forgetting the last fight. And this is what it is. This is the point to where everybody's tired of humans killing each other for no reason. You don't get to do that. We're all done. It doesn't matter the color anymore. These young kids, they getting up, don't matter the color, the age. You cannot do that anymore. And this is the brink. And some of us are going to stand for truth. You know, the things that we're going to die for is going to be for righteousness. You cannot continue to do the things that you're doing. Humanity. And this is the part where the good side is going to win in the end. So, you know, the direction that we're talking about, you know, just look around. It's always a war. You know, they got a rap song. It's a war going on outside. But they only thought that was in a project. But no, it's real. With us in the government, with us in, you know, this pandemic and the help that we need. You know, that's a war. The housing we need. You know, and this is all about to get rectified. And this is where the people who are good, we can't turn our heads anymore. We can't keep walking past. We have to stand up and we have to do something to make it right. And unfortunately, just like Kay, and I think it was Sadaria just said, I'm not sure if that's Sadaria or Chanel, but like she just said, you know, the death of all of those people around that's going to come after this last great war is going to be the thing. We're going to all throw our hands up and be like, you know what? It ain't worth it. I'd rather just love you than to keep on going in the direction we've been going. But it's real, man. I love y'all so much. Great topic, brother. Yes. All of y'all comments and feedback. I love y'all, man. Keep up the good work.
Praise God. Love you too, sis. Love you too. Let's go to K with the E. K with the E. What's on your heart, sis?
Just listening. Just listening.
Now hold on, K.
Right.
Hold on, K. Let me say this to you. For you know, you that's the fastest you ever found that mute button in on or how long, and you're gonna talk about you just listening on radio. You can't just listen on radio. That's the fastest you found that mute button and on. Or I can't remember when the last time you found that mute button that quick. Then you're gonna say, I'm just listening. Come on now.
Because guess what? Guess what? I was really listening. I didn't even mute it, so I didn't have to find the mute button.
I knew something was going on. I said, man, look, she found the mute button real quick that time, Rico.
I forgot to mute the phone, but she was right. But even at the end of the day, like people still gonna be people. Individuals gonna still be individuals, like they said. He created her with a mindset, but it's like he still give us the ability to go do whatever it is we want to do. So that, I mean, how else will we do the right or the wrong thing if our mind is already set on to do the right thing? If he could control it and have us all to do the right thing, it wouldn't be no sin. But no, we do have our mind, but we have ability to use it. And so that's what people are doing. They're taking their ability and they're using their mind, and their minds are fixed how they want to fix them. And some people's minds ain't fixed on right.
Exactly. Now let me ask this question right here. We change the subject, change the topic, just the way I went. So that's what we do. We jump all over the place. But let me ask you, Rico, this question. Rico, you're in the car, you're driving, man, going your way. You listen to the music, got your little music going that you like. You're having a good time. You're in a real good mood. Why is it that if somebody cuts you off, all of a sudden rage sets in that quickly? Your mood just switch, bam, just like that. And if you ain't careful, you cussing them out, you're pointing the finger at them, you're giving them the finger and all kind of things, man. How is it that we can shift so quickly from a place of peace, like we talked about last night, a place of peace, to instant rage?
It doesn't take much. Once a certain thing bothers you enough, then it doesn't take much for it to show how much it aggravates you when it shows its face. Like, say for instance, you might put up with a nagging spouse or partner. You know, that you might put up with a misbehaving child after a while. But then, you know, you say, you know what, okay, I'm about getting tired of this disobedience. Or I'm about getting tired of all these people texting while they're driving. See, you know, the first few times I saw somebody texting while driving, I was like, oh, wow. They're going to hurt somebody. Wow, I can't believe they texting while they're driving. About 12 years of it, as soon as I see it, that MF, where the police at? He about to kill somebody. I'm mad immediately because you know what? I'm tired of seeing this same behavior. I'm so sick of seeing this dysfunctional behavior to the point where I don't have the patience for it like I had in the past. See, at first I had patience for it because I wasn't used to seeing this dysfunctional behavior. But now I see it's rampant.
Now I see it's second nature. Now I see that people are really doing it and they ain't paying attention to the most common logic. And that is that you can at least pull over. Or you might be risking your life and leaving here forever to answer that text message.
Mm-hmm.
Find that song that you want to listen to on your radio. The reason why you swerving and now you about to hit somebody head on. Oh, my bad. You back in your lane now.
Yeah.
You got music on. But I'm about to cuss you out. You like to kill us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some things are more important than others. So that, you know, like I said, sometimes it aggravates you when you see what people value, what people take for granted. You know, I'm gonna go back and answer that last question you said too, because that you said about death. I was gonna say death, but then I thought about it. It's death, tragedy, struggle, and free.
Wow.
Free stuff will bring people together all the time. You giving out some free money, some free food, man. Why people show up? You giving out. Let a woman say she giving up some free. How many men gonna come around? You know how men come around when women get in.
Yep.
That's gonna definitely bring people together. Now you know, I was getting a little silly with that, but that's the truth because if you think about it, with 9/11, if those people hadn't jumped out the buildings and committed suicide the way they did, you know, because they felt in despair. They felt it was the best option was to jump out of the building. Buildings hadn't fallen, that still would have been so traumatizing around the world. The falling of the building, it compacted and made everything even bigger. But the initial fact that two planes hit those buildings, that would have been enough in itself to bring unity to New York for the next 2, 3, or 4 years. When I went up there in 2006, they said it was like a new place. And you know how rough it is up there. Everybody loving, everybody was there. You know, we were talking about hugging people and shaking hands. People like to speak and talk up there. After them planes hit, everybody looked at each other like humans. Everybody had the same question. You know what I'm saying? Why? What could have stopped this? Well, like some people say, what was God? You know, you hear people say stuff like that during natural disasters and stuff. So, you know, you have those things that also bring people together. But death is always the biggest uniter.
Exactly. Toy, you want to talk to me? Exactly. Toy, you want to talk to me, sis?
Oh no, man, that's good stuff. Rico just said, man. You know, a lot of us like to say, "Where is God?" But heck, you don't know. God might have told you to call out that day, but you didn't because you ain't never missed a day of work. We got those stories too, where something just kept trying to keep you from going, and then when you don't go, it's like, oh wow. You know what I'm saying? How do you know everybody else didn't get that message? But not for nothing, we God's first. God do what He want to do. God do what He want to do. You know what I'm saying? That we forget that. You know, we get selfish when it comes to death sometimes. You know, but if He feel like He want to call you home, only He know. And that's the part where we get a little bit selfish on. You know what I mean? But not for nothing. Humans, we are some valuable human beings, and we just don't acknowledge it. I think it's very important that we keep our eyes on who God says we are, despite whatever natural disaster. Rico was right. Natural disaster in New York, they got it together for a minute. Even when I went up there after Corona, people, they like, when you get know with your car, you know how most people are like, nah, we got time to go. No, like, go ahead, get over. It is a different spirit up there.
Yeah.
When I went up there this last time after Corona, you know, and that's something that we experienced. Corona showed us gratitude. Like, oh man, we was complaining, we running, we going. That's the distraction. But not for nothing. Let me tell you what God is teaching me, right? With what Rico just said. Because this is me as a woman. I'm trying to be that woman that God want me to be with being a nagging woman and saying everything that's on my mind and even in traffic. God said you ain't gotta say everything, something all the time. Control yourself.
Yeah.
That's control. You ain't got to do all that when you in that car doing all that. What you using all that energy? You pick and choose, and what we do is we train ourselves as kids. Because keep in mind, people don't tell us how we should act. They just talk around us, and we pick up stuff, and then we just be that. But you don't have to respond to everything. You don't have to let everything take your energy like that, Toya. So once the Lord got in my head that me and Him got a deal on a destiny, and He working on me, as long as I keep doing that, nothing is gonna make me go back the other way. You know, kind of like the whole Anna thing with the money. Take it, keep it. We gonna go to court, yeah. but I'm not gonna be getting mad and carrying on and using energy. On the inside, I am. But all that acting up like I supposed to have, the devil know that. But I'm not gonna do that because my mind is set on what the promises of God said. I believe that. He infiltrated me in a whole nother way to where there's nothing that can go on now. My thing is love. Anything I can do to help you is love, and anything you show me that is of stealing, killing, destroying, I need to back up and be firm and confident that the Lord don't want me fooling with you. But facts on what everybody is saying, man, we got to stay strong. We got to stay prayed up, and we just got to get ready for the moment because we know it's coming.
Absolutely, absolutely. K with the E, what's on your heart, sis? See. You hit the mute button, didn't you? You mess around and turn the mute button off. You were doing so good. Look here.
Yes, I hit the mute button. Exactly.
Lord. You were doing so good. I was so proud of you the last time. I said, man, look here. That's the fastest. And then what you do? You turn the doggone mute button back on. What's
the mute button?
What's on your heart, sis?
But Toya was right. She hit that right on the thing, because that's what I was doing when I was in tune with my brothers and them. I was lashing out. Wasn't nothing going right. But when I tell y'all I turned it loose and gave it to God, everything turned. I said, oh, I was the one bucking the system. Because I thought I was handling it. It wasn't for me to handle. And when I got out the way, he handled it. And he's still handling it. But I was definitely in the way.
Now, Sadaria, how often is it that we do get in the way?
Probably every day. Every day, because, once we get up, like if we're real, I'm gonna use that word, spiritual minded, we get up, we meditate, we thank God that, we grand rising, thank you, Jesus, hallelujah, praise the Lord. But some of us might anoint ourselves, and we do, yoga and all these different things that are supposedly our spiritual outward manifestation of how we feel about our God that we serve. And then we go on about our business. And then God is not in the rest of our day, or spirituality is not in the rest of our day. That's why we end up cussing people out and giving people the finger and doing all these other things, because we're doing it as a ritualistic act as opposed to making it a lifestyle, something that you do all day, every day. Every time you think of doing something, you think about, what are the principles I say I believe in? This is how I'm learning and have learned to interact in my life. Therefore, interacting with people, I strive to interact with them from a spiritual perspective and not my own precepts, concepts, and opinions. Because if I interact with people from that level, man, I probably wouldn't deal with nobody. But I have to deal with people on the level where they are, especially if it's a level that I've been blessed to mature above. And if it's a level I haven't gotten to, then I have to have enough humility to understand that that person is at a level I haven't reached yet, and I can draw from that person and learn and grow. And I just wanted to say something about what Rico was saying about the texting. What I learned in driving is, I can yell in my car all I want. They can't hear me. So it's a waste of my time. They can't hear that I'm mad. So to me, it became foolery. Why am I going to exert this energy? They don't know I'm upset about what they did. And obviously they don't care, because they were being careless. So sometimes I just do, the SMH, just shaking my head. But I strive not to let my temperament respond to someone else's stupidity. And a lot of times I use prayer, like I'll pray for them quickly, that they don't hurt somebody and they don't hurt themselves. I strive to let that come out of my mouth quick, so that some other word won't come out.
We got another thug pastor, Rico. We got another thug pastor. Ready to get some of them. Come on, Rico. You ready?
Yeah,
yes, sir. You ready? Because I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. I rebuke. Go ahead, Rico.
I'm gonna turn the tables a little bit, man, because I let it get by me. It's been something I wanted to bring up. I missed it the last Wednesday, and now here it is, another Wednesday I missed it. But y'all know the comedian Monique came out and gave a public service announcement to all the queens, all the sisters fits their crown, and more proud about how they carry themselves in public, how they represent themselves. And you know, I've been saying the same thing that she said. A lot of other people have been saying the same thing, but it's meant so much to hear it come from another woman, and I thought it was going to take off. And she got backlash. She got from women that felt like she was degrading and coming at black women sideways for checking them about wearing their bonnets and their pajamas with no underwear and no bras on in public. And I see it all the time. I mean, the bonnets is one thing, but then when you see them with their little moo-moos and little gowns or their pajamas and they ain't got no underwear on. Man. And you only see our sisters doing that.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're doing it, you know, they going natural, or maybe they're covering their hair up because they do have a hairdo that they were trying to protect. But whether that hairdo for when you went out in public, people could see how good it looked. Now when you go out in public, you hide. I think it's a trickle effect. I think it's a conscious adaptation of a male's do-rag. You remember at one point in time, we was wearing do-rags everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
Statement. We didn't even have waves. I wore it so I could keep my braids neat. I didn't like wild hair in between my braids. So I wore a do-rag all the time, and I got comfortable. I started wearing it in public, and I used to hear my mom and them say, you know what, you shouldn't wear that in public like that. Yeah, you know what, you're right. This ain't presentable. This is for me to actually keep it together before I come out in public. Yeah. I got this to be presentable. So I'm just trying to figure out, because now we have women on board. You know, I know Cassandra and all them got booted off and Sherelle, but I would have loved to have wanted their input on what Monique had to say, because you had so many people coming at Monique, man. I mean, she had to defend herself like 2 or 3 times since then. She had to make video standing her ground about having pride and standards. Okay. So why?
Let me ask, because we got 3 minutes before we get out of here. I want to, and ladies, give me your quick version. Because we got 3 minutes. So Daria, give me your quick version. What do you think about what Monique said?
I didn't hear it fully, but if it deals with what Rico is speaking about, I agree with Monique. You know, I'm a woman of pride, and I strive not to go anywhere undone. I never saw my mother in 57 years of my life go out of the house undone. She never went out in rollers, house shoes, gowns, pajamas, never in 57 years. And she lived to be 97 years old. And even then, she wanted her hair done and her makeup, and she would get dressed for church at that age. So no, I'm in agreement. You know, your character, people see your character when they see you.
Good deal. Quick version, ladies. K with an E, quick version. What do you say to what Monique said?
I agree with her 100%. I can run out the house in a rush and got that bonnet on and take it off. I done lost so many bonnets rushing out the house, and I took it off, and next thing I know, it just fell out the car because my mama would have a fit. And if I went out the house in my pajamas to make a run, I'm taking somebody somewhere, and I'm not getting out the car. I'm just getting in my car from my house and back in my house, because I wasn't going nowhere, and somebody even called me, come take me here, or can you come drop me off, or something like that. But other than that, I didn't. I don't do that. My mama would have a fit.
Good deal.
Turn over in her grave. Child, you outside. That's for bedtime.
Now, K, I say the quick version, sis. I say the quick version. But you still,
and I didn't have to wait on the mute line.
But you're still going though. I like God almighty. Toy you with a T. Give me your quick version of what you think. Do you agree with what do you think about what Monique said? That K would eat something else. Toya?
Rico shouldn't have asked that question at the end.
My name, my bad. I'm fighting with the mute button over here. No, great show as usual, you guys. Great conversation, man. And I really hope that we delivered somebody, man, just having our conversation, man. We got to get this thing going on a whole nother day with a whole nother level, because I really liked it. But no, man, good job. I love y'all so much, man. Y'all have a good day.
You too.
And make sure y'all stay tuned.
Do you agree with Monique or you disagree with her?
Well, there is some truth, but I feel like Monique needs to mind her business. We're too far beyond that. We should have been doing something years ago, right?
Mhm.
You can't do that. I mean, we could say the same thing about fat, honey. Don't get me started on Monique. We could say the same thing about fat. Now you want to be small. And without that wasn't good to be big in the first place, and she would have been ripping people to shreds. But since she decided to lose weight for whatever reason, now she want to be the bonnet queen. Like, no, leave people alone and let them see the error of their own way, the same way you did. Because people looked at being big like that too. So I mean, it was some truth to it. But God got everything, and He'll lead people their own way.
Mm-hmm. Rico, your final thoughts on it, brother?
I somewhat agree with what she said, but Monique, she justified what she said by saying that that's what Patti LaBelle and all the older queens before her came and said to her. They talked about her appearance, how she represented herself, and her mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna do that on stage, but now in public, when you out here amongst people and you communicate, you need to leave that on stage and leave that on TV, sister.
Mm-hmm.
This is not the expectation that we have of the standards that we have set. Our ancestors set better standards for us than this. This is what you do when you perform. And as far as her weight went, that was another thing they addressed her on. And she took it to heart. She took it by. She didn't say, well, Patti, you probably used to do this back in the day. She said, you know what? I appreciate that because you're telling the truth. So Monique is, guess what? She's paying it forward.
Mm-hmm.
She did used to be fat. And she took my advice instead of getting offended and said, you know what? I appreciate that. I'm going to work on it. And now it's time for these other sisters to take that advice because two wrongs don't make no right.
Exactly. It's 10:02, man. Rick, I wish you would have brought that to the table a little earlier, brother.
And I missed it, man. I've been wanting to talk about it for about 2 weeks, man.
Yeah.
Yep, waited too long.
We had them all the ladies on here, man, because that would have been a great conversation right there, just to see how each and every one of them feel about it. So we may have to revisit that thing. Actually, we may do it on Black Conversations on Friday. Maybe revisit it again.
Pull up the video. Pull up her videos. What she said. See what she said.
Exactly. Rico, what's going on at 3:00 today, sir?
If you missed today's show and would like to catch it in its entirety, you can tune in today at 3:00, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and tune in to www.dkmmediagroup.com.
Good deal. Toya with a T. We're gonna charge you with the prayer today.
I had that feeling you was coming to me. All right, then. Well, Lord, you know what? We want to thank you for another wonderful and blessed day, Lord. We want to thank you for another great conversation, and we want to thank you for using us to be able to get through to people. We really hope that, people hear our conversation and know that they are sincere, and we hope that you're using to break yokes, Lord. Continue to keep us protected, and continue to keep all of our families protected, and continue to keep us in your will and show us your way. And we thank you, we love you, and we show you all the honor, mercy, and praise in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Good deal. We're about to get out of here for today. Rico, anything on your heart before we get out of here, Rico?
I think you've seen that question I put in there, but that might be another show. I was gonna ask, how does weave, wigs, and eyelashes end up on the side of the road? But because after Kate said that about the bunnies being lost, I'm like, okay, that explains the bunnies I see in the middle of the road now. I usually see bunnies in the middle of the road, but now I'm seeing bunnies in the road. I'm like, what in the hell? How are these bunnies in the road? Now I see what it is. They just put it in it's falling out so well. So that explains it. I'm just trying to figure out the weave, wigs, and eyelashes now. I saw some eyelashes on a dirty pamper the other day.
Good Lord.
I'm like, how did that happen?
Look, on that note, y'all.
Let me tell y'all what happened to me when I tried to lash. I said, I guess I'm too pretty for lashes. So the first time I washed my face, I had lashes all over my face, all over my neck, my forehead, my chin, everywhere. The second time I tried it, I woke up with lashes everywhere. I'm like, what is going on? Then I took a shower. I was like, I'm done. I can't do the fake lash thing. Like, I can't do it. They was everywhere but on my eye, on my lash.
Lord. Let's look at Rico. You done started something, brother. You done started something. I can't wait till Black Conversations on Fridays because ain't no telling what we're gonna talk about. But listen, It is 10:04. Time for us to get out here for today. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DK Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow to be a part of your morning. It is now 10:05. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you could do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. That we shine the light from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in, and let your light so shine. You'll have a great day. Get an opportunity to give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? You'll have a great day and take care of each other. Love you.